but long enough to burn the hat. And now the flames, look. They've frozen into a different position. Charlie, what is it?
It's the Christmas carol. Hark the herald angels sing. It's very faint.
I still can't hear anything. Charlie, can you tell where it's coming from?
No, it's too faint. Oh, I can barely hear it now.
Maybe when I burn the hat, maybe we broke into that other world for a few seconds. Wait, I'll burn the cracker too.
Yes, that's better. It's louder.
Where's it coming from, Charlie? Where's the way in?
Burn something else. Find something else, Doctor.
The tablecloth. I'll try the tablecloth.
Quick! Back the way we came.
Through the kitchen?
Yes, into the scullery. That's where it's coming from. I can hear her, Doctor. It's as if she's standing in the room with us. Can't you hear anything?
No. Try talking to her. See if you can get through to her.
Doctor?
Somewhere here is the door out of this. You must see if you can find it, Charlie.
Hello? Are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, it's all right. You needn't be frightened. Please.
What's happening, Charlie? What do you see?
Nothing. I think I frightened her off. It's just silence again. No, wait. It's ticking.
What did you say?
A clock. It's like a clock ticking, growing louder and louder. They're talking to me.
Who's talking to you, Charlie?
I don't know. I can't make it out. Who are you? Who are you all? What do you want with us?
Charlie!
Oh, why is this happening to me? Doctor, it's too much! Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the... Excuse me, hello?
Oh, I didn't see you creeping up on me like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, miss. I'm sorry. Speaking before I was being spoken at. I'm sorry. You won't tell, will you?
No, of course not.
Only Mrs. Badley, or worse, Mr. Shaughnessy, they'd go spare, miss.
I promise I won't tell.
Oh, you've got a good heart, miss. You're from upstairs, aren't you?
Yes, I suppose I am.
Oh, I never see nobody from upstairs. There's a big plum pudding in there for you. The biggest ever. It's all right, I haven't tasted it. I wanted to, mind, but I didn't do it. Was it my singing that brought you down? Was it too loud?
I did hear you singing.
Caterwauling, Mr. Shaughnessy calls it. You stop that caterwauling right now! Well, please don't tell. I've got all this scrubbing and dusting to do, see? There's so much dust I could write my name in it.
Edith Thompson.
Oh, that's it. See it there? I wrote that all by myself.
I'm sure.
All by myself, mind. I didn't have no help. Wait just a moment. There's more writing appearing. How's that happening then?
Charlie Pollard.
Charlie Pollard? Is that what it says? Who's that then?
It's me.
Charlie? That's a funny name for a girl. Oh, I don't mean nothing by it. It's a nice name. Charlie, there'll be a death here soon.
Edith, what are you saying? Whose death?
Mine, Charlie. Mine. Oh, I don't mean nothing by it. It's a nice name. Oh, I wish I was called Charlie.
Doctor!
Charlie, are you all right?
Yes, I think so.
Where were you, Charlie? What did you see?
I was right here, standing right here. But I was with the maid, with Edith Thompson. Couldn't you see me?
You were frozen, just like the flames, like everything in this house. I thought I'd lost you.
Doctor, she said she was going to die. Edith said she was going to die.
Did you hear that? A clock ticking. A grandfather clock.
Oh, you can hear it too. I thought it was just me.
Come on, Charlie, back to the TARDIS.
Doctor?
There are some mysteries best left unsolved, and something has gone to great lengths to stop us from interfering.
You're frightened.
Yes. Too late. I think that whatever was keeping us out has decided to let us in. clock ticking. A grandfather clock.
Oh, you can hear it too. I thought it was just me.
Come on, Charlie, back to the TARDIS.
Doctor?
There are some mysteries best left unsolved, and something has gone to great lengths to stop us from interfering.
You're frightened.
Yes. Too late. I think that whatever was keeping us out has decided to let us in. We've arrived, Charlie. Are you all right?
Yes, I think so. Doctor, look!
Oh, my word.
That's the maid. That's Edith.
Give me a hand with her. Keep her head out of the water.
But I was only speaking to her a moment ago.
What's happening in here?
There was a scream.
It's your scullery maid. We found her drowning in her own sink.
Oh, no!
Mary, it's all right.
Oh, my goodness, that such a thing could happen in my kitchens.
Give me a hand with her, someone, quickly.
Yes, of course. Frederick, assist the gentleman in removing Edith from the wash basin.
Yes, Mr. Shaughnessy.
Let me assure you, sir, if Edith has inconvenienced you in any way, I will have her formally reprimanded.
He's good at that, sir, is Mr. Shaughnessy. He's a veritable tyrant with his formal reprimands.
Give me room, can't you? I'm trying to save her life.
Well?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid she's dead.
Oh, no.
I don't understand it. Her lungs are full of water. There couldn't be that much water in the sink in the first place. I should have been able to save her.
This is most unfortunate. To lose a scullery maid on Christmas Eve.
But Edith never was very good at timing, was she?
Listen, I know how this must look. Coming in to find two strangers over a dead body.
But we really had nothing to do with it.
Well, of course you had nothing to do with it.
The very idea.
We count ourselves lucky, Doctor, that the Chief Inspector of Scotland Yard was being entertained upstairs at the time of this most unhappy accident.
The Chief Inspector of Scotland Yard?
Yes, of course. You are the doctor, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And this is Miss Pollard, your niece.
Well, yes.
It is indeed a happy coincidence you are both already here, so that this matter can be resolved as swiftly as possible.
Well, I'll do my best, Mr.
Oh, no, Mr. Sir. Shaughnessy. Just plain Shaughnessy to a man of your rank.
You will be able to solve this case before morning, won't you, Doctor? I don't want it spoiling Christmas. Not when I've got my famous plum puddings all ready and cooling next door.
Oh, yes. Well, Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without one of your plum puddings.
Don't worry, Mrs. Baddeley. Have faith in the Doctor and Miss Pollard. I assume, Doctor, we can safely conclude it was suicide?
Suicide?
The poor unfortunate. She was such an unhappy child.
In fact, it is extraordinarily difficult to drown yourself standing up with your head in a sink. As soon as the body loses consciousness, she'd have passed out and fallen, pulling her head out of the water.
Oh, don't he talk posh with all his scientific terms, don't he, Frederick? Losing consciousness, indeed.
That's what makes him a gentleman, Mary.
I'd even go so far as to say it was impossible.
Well, Edith was a very stupid girl, Doctor. She may not have known it was impossible when she did it.
She certainly wasn't the sharpest tool in the box.
That's your answer, Doctor. Mrs. Baddeley has it. Edith was so simple-minded that she didn't realize she couldn't drown herself in the sink. And so she did.
Interesting theory.
Do you have another, Doctor?
Oh, come on. It's perfectly obvious. The poor girl was murdered.
Murdered? Oh, that such a thing could happen in my kitchens when I've got my plum puddings ready and cooling.
Wouldn't be Christmas without them.
Murder, Doctor. Well, I'm sure you know your business. No doubt you will want to interview us all, one by one, in order to ascertain which of us is the guilty culprit.
Yes. Yes, that's the idea.
Well, then I shall be in my pantry, Doctor, when you need me. The rest of you, return to your duties until you're requested by the Doctor and Miss Pollard, and obey them in all things.
Yes, Mr. Shaughnessy.
Save, naturally, in matters regarding the household.
We will wait for you, Doctor. Miss... Come along, Mary.
I must check my plum pudding. With all the commotion, I wouldn't be surprised if it's quite gone off.
Chief Inspector of Scotland Yard, eh?
I'd rather we were amateur sleuths, like in those Agatha Christie novels. Doctor, what's going on here?
I don't know, Charlie. I really don't know.
That poor girl. She warned me she was going to die. She knew she was.
She was killed at precisely 10 o'clock. I wonder if that's significant.
Perhaps the murderer was trying to mask the sound of any struggle beneath the chimes of the grandfather clock.
Yes, possibly.
Except it didn't work. Edith still had time to scream.
But if the killer didn't want to be discovered, why kill Edith in such a contrived manner? Drowning someone is hardly the quietest method of murder. You've seen how small the staff quarters are down here, Charlie. The killer must have known he could be found at any moment. And yet he chooses to kill her like this, face down in the sink. Something's wrong about this. It all feels too calculated. too deliberate.
Just as something deliberately shut us out.
And now, just as deliberately has let us in and gives us roles to perform. A pair of detectives trying to solve a Christmas murder. I don't like being given a role to play, Charlie. I prefer to find my own.
So what do we do?
Oh, we'll play detective. We've no choice for the moment. Speak to the cook and the maid, see what you can learn. I'll question the man.
And what are we investigating? The murder or the time anomaly?
Well, I'd be very surprised if the two weren't connected. Take care of yourself, Charlie. There's more to this than meets the eye.
Oh, please, sir, come in. There's no need to knock. You have complete authority in this house.
Thank you. Please, won't you be seated?
Thank you, Doctor. May I be permitted to ask how the investigation is proceeding? Are you close to bringing the felon to justice?
Well, I have only just started, Shaughnessy.
A terrible business, this. Murder. It is to be hoped that the disgrace will in no way taint his lordship, that it will only fall on us, the staff.
Do you know why anybody would want to kill Edith? Did you like the girl?
Oh, like didn't really come into it, Doctor. She was the scullery maid, but she'll be missed.
So you did have a little affection for her?
Oh, no. She was noisy, and she was lazy, and she was ugly.
But you said she'd be missed.
Indeed she will, sir. She cleaned the pots and pans.
Yes, I see. Is there anything else you know about her?
She was the scullery maid, Doctor. Nothing more.
I don't want any more lip from you, my girl. You're to get to those pots and pans.
But that's not my job. That's Edith's job. I'm a lady's maid. My place isn't in the scullery.
Well, now Edith's dead, you'll just have to fill in for her. Do you the world of good, you with all your airs and graces.
Excuse me. I wonder if I could ask you a few questions.
Of course you can, my poppet. Anything you like. Well, go on, Mary, about your business.
It isn't fair. I bet if I'd been the one who was horribly murdered, you wouldn't ask Edith to do my duties. It's favouritism. And what about Edith's body? You expect me to work in there with that on the floor?
Why ever not? It doesn't take up much room. Oh, girls these days. Well, not you, of course, my poppet. You're a lovely little girl, I know. You want to ask me a few questions? Is this about your little investigation?
Yes, that's right. Where were you when Edith was murdered?
Oh, bless. Do you think you've solved the mystery yet?
Well, no. I've only just started.
Bless. Would you like a piece of my plum pudding?
Well, no. I'd really much rather you just answered my question.
Here it is. Oh, go on. Just a little piece. I won't tell. It isn't Christmas quite yet, but I know it's your favourite.
I don't care about plum pudding. I just want to find out who killed Edith Thompson.
Well, if you don't care about my plum pudding, I'm not sure I want to help.
What?
If you'd rather talk about a dirty, noisy, stupid little girl like Edith than taste a sweet, moist plum pudding like mine, then I don't want to talk to you at all. Go on, leave my kitchen.
But Mr. Shaughnessy said...
Mr. Shaughnessy likes my plum pudding. He always says so.
On second thoughts, Miss Badley, may I have a piece of your pudding after all? It looks quite delicious.
Oh, it is delicious. It is. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without my plum pudding. And I know it's your favourite. You always said so.
How long have you worked in this house, Shaughnessy?
Oh, I don't know exactly, Doctor. A long time, though, I can tell you that.
I'm sure you must have seen a fair few changes.
Changes, sir? I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Changes in staff, at least. You've got through several scullery maids, I'll be bound.
Oh, I dare say, sir. It's hard to recall. They were all scullery maids to me.
And the rest of the household, how well do you know them?
Oh, intimately, Doctor. They've worked under me for many years.
What can you tell me about them?
There's the cook, and the lady's maid, and the chauffeur.
Yes. All right. What about upstairs?
Upstairs, Doctor?
Yes, who is upstairs?
Well, his lordship and her ladyship.
And what are they like?
Oh, I don't discuss them, sir. It's not my place.
Are either of them remotely homicidal at all?
Oh, it's not my place.
Perhaps one of them is conducting dangerous time experiments. Have you seen any weird, futuristic-looking equipment lying about when you serve morning tea?
It's not my place. We are nothing. We are nobody.
I beg your pardon?
We are nobody. Only in service do we derive any meaning or purpose. We serve. That is our function. Our only function. We are nobody.
Yes, all right, Shaughnessy. Did you kill Edith?
No, sir.
Do you know who did?
No, sir. But I'd be inclined to suspect Mrs. Badley, the cook.
And why's that?
Why, sir, she has shifty eyes.
Thank you, Shaughnessy. That was all most helpful.
you are, my dear. You enjoy that. Be careful of the threatening bit. Remember when you broke your tooth on one?
How do you know?
Go on, my poppet. Eat up.
Oh, yes, that is good.
Always been your favourite, ever since you were a little girl.
It certainly has. You'll make me plum pudding forever, won't you? Even when I'm grown up?
Of course I will, my love. All the plum pudding you can eat. I'll never leave you, not ever.
Where am I? What's going on?
You poor thing. You're getting tired, and it's a big day tomorrow.
What are you doing to me?
Oh dear, clumsy. Never mind. One more piece of plum pudding, then we'll get you tucked straight into bed.
Mrs. Badley, did you kill Edith Thompson?
No, my dear, do you know, I didn't. But I've got a feeling I know who did.
Who's that?
Frederick, the chauffeur. Haven't you noticed? He's got shifty eyes.
Thank you, Mrs. Badley. For the pudding.
Not at all, my poppet. Not at all. Always been a favourite. Ever since she was a little girl.
Excuse me, Frederick?
Hello, Doctor. So, have you got the case solved yet?
No.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sure you will have soon. It's very exciting for the likes of us, sir, to be in a real-life murder mystery being solved by the doctor.
You know my reputation, then?
Oh, yes, sir. I love that one you did with the 7 dials. That was gripping.
I think you'll find that was Agatha Christie.
If you say so, Doctor.
I thought I worked at Scotland Yard.
Oh, no. You're too good for the police. You're the best amateur sleuth there is in all London. I've no doubt you'll have the murderer behind bars before I can say Boxing Day.
Well, let's hope so. Are you the killer, Frederick?
Well, Doctor, that would be telling. It wouldn't be a good mystery if the killer came right out and told you, would it?
No, I suppose not. Well, assuming it isn't you for the moment.
Yes, sir. Anything I can do to help?
Who is the killer, do you think?
Well, I'm not paid to have opinions, Doctor. I'm just paid to drive the Chrysler.
But I'm sure you have an opinion anyway.
I'm betting it's Mary, sir. The lady's maid.
Shifty eyes, no doubt.
Well, you're the expert, Doctor. But they are a bit shifty, aren't they?
If only ever murder could be determined by the shiftiness of the culprit's eyes. What year is it?
What, sir?
What's the year, don't you know?
Yes, sir. It's 1906.
But Agatha Christie wasn't published until 1920, so how do you know who she was?
Well, it's probably 1920 then.
And the Chrysler was first introduced in 1924.
Did I say Chrysler? I meant Bentley. I drive a Bentley.
Do you?
Yes, sir. I've never even heard of a Chrysler. Or a Christie. I don't know. I don't know what year it is. I'm just paid to drive the car.
The Chrysler, is there?
Yes, the Chrysler. No, I mean the Bentley. The Chrysler hasn't been invented yet. Will that be all, Doctor?
For the moment.
I'm sure you'll catch the killer soon, Doctor. You're the best amateur sleuth in London.
It's just not fair. That's the long and the short of it. I'm a lady's maid, not a scullery maid.
No, Mary, of course not.
In truth, I've been brought up too proper to have my hands in the washing. In truth, I'm closer to you, Miss Pollard, than I ever was to Edith. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm posh or nothing, like the likes of you, miss. I'm not in Edith's class, neither, am I? And just because she goes and gets herself murdered, well, I don't see why I should have to do her job.
You don't seem very affected by her death.
Of course I'm affected by it. If she was still alive, I wouldn't be trying to clean the grease off this baking tray, would I?
Did you kill her, Mary?
Not much in it for me if I did, was there?
Do you know who did?
Well, if I had to say, I'd think it was Edith. She's got shifty eyes.
Edith's the one who was murdered, Mary.
Then I'd say it was Mr. Shaughnessy. He's got shifty eyes.
I see. Thank you.
Here, you can tell me. Have you worked out who killed her yet?
You worked out who killed me yet? What? What was that?
Miss Pollard, are you all right?
Yes, I think so.
You've gone all pale. Like you've just seen her.
Back here again. In the darkness. Silent. Doctor! Oh, Doctor, where are you? Oh, Doctor, please! I don't think I can stand it in here on my own.
Have you worked out who killed me yet?
Edith,
That's right.
where are you? I can't see you. I can't see anything.
Please find out who killed me soon. I'm so tired of dying.
Do you know who killed you? Who was it, Edith?
Oh, yes, I know. But that would be telling. There'll be another murder soon, and everyone will forget me.
Don't you forget me, Charlie.
No, I won't.
Edward Grove. Edward Grove is alive.
Edith? Edith, where have you gone? Edith, please, don't leave me here on my own. Doctor? Doctor, where are you? Doctor!
Charlie, what is it? What's happened?
Why is Mrs. Badley lying like that on the kitchen table?
Oh, dear Lord, not another accident.
Let me see. There are no marks on her body, it seems.
Someone's put threepenny coins on her eyes. Why would they do that?
The mark of death. Let me see if I can open her mouth. Oh dear.
What is it, Doctor?
I'd keep back if I were you. This is not very pleasant to look at. It seems that Mrs. Badley has been stuffed with her own plum pudding.
Oh, dear God, that's sick.
This is dreadful news. To lose another member of staff over Christmas is bad enough. To lose the plum pudding makes it even worse.
Still, what a way to go. I can't think of a better way than being suffocated with one of Mrs. Badley's plum puddings.
Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without them.
What's wrong with them all?
Gently does it, Charlie. You're right, something is very wrong with them all.
Surely you would agree that this one must be suicide, Doctor.
Do you know, I'm going to stick my neck out and suggest it's another murder. Could you please all leave Miss Pollard and myself alone for a moment?
Got some of your famous sleuthing to do, have you, Doctor?
That's the idea, yes.
It's very exciting. I wonder who the killer will turn out to be.
Doctor, I saw Edith.
Where? What, she's alive?
No, I don't think so. It was in the scullery, but as it was when we arrived, dark and empty.
Did she speak to you? What did she say?
It didn't make much sense. She told me to remember her, that everyone would forget her, but I must remember her, and that Edward Grove is alive.
Edward Grove is alive?
Yes, she was most emphatic about it.
But there isn't anyone here called Edward Grove?
Maybe he's the killer. Someone we haven't met yet.
No, not possible. There are rules to this sort of mystery, Charlie. It wouldn't be fair if the murderer turned out to be someone we hadn't even suspected.
Rules? What do you mean?
Oh, I think that there are rules to this, Charlie. Don't you? It all feels like some sort of elaborate game to me. A killing always on the hour, just as the clock strikes. The murder being some sort of representation of the victim's job. The scullery maid drowned in her own sink with the pots and pans. The cook smothered with her own pudding.
If only we were given some sort of clue.
I rather think we've been given nothing else but clues. There are so many clues we can't see what's going on. Whoever has given us our roles as amateur sleuths has taken it to heart.
Poor Mrs. Badley. I heard her scream, Doctor, just as before.
Yes, odd that she should be able to scream with her throat full of plum pudding. I heard the clock chime, I heard her scream. Seconds later, I was in here to find you and her dead body. Look at the state of her. It must have taken minutes to force feed her so much.
But if she didn't scream, who did?
I don't know. It was the same scream we heard before, wasn't it? The one we assumed had to be Edith's when she was killed.
A young woman's scream. Mary's?
Yes, it seems likely.
But why, Doctor? Why would Mary scream as she was killing Mrs. Badley and Edith? Why draw attention to yourself?
And who is Edward Grove? Oh, too many questions and not enough answers, and we are running out of time.
What do you mean?
It seems pretty well established that the murders take place on the hour. We've got to try and solve this before anyone else gets killed. There's something I'm missing. There's something that's staring me in the face and I can't see it.
Doctor, I'll tell you something else which doesn't make sense.
With the greatest of respect, Charlie, I'm looking for something which does make sense at the moment. Sorry, what was it?
The murders are happening exactly an hour apart, yes?
Yes.
But that didn't seem like an hour at all, did it? I mean, I know it's hard to keep track of time, but not that much, surely. Doctor, why are you looking at me like that?
Oh, Charlie, you are brilliant.
I am? Oh, thank you.
He's breaking the rules. He has to kill on the hour, but he's altering the clock to make it run faster. Why is he doing that, I wonder? When everything else is so ordered, why is that out of place? Come on.
Where are we going?
To find a clock, of course. To find out what time it really is.
Frederick, thank God you're alone.
Mary, what is it?
Oh, Frederick, you're a wild, passionate, impulsive fool, but I can't help but love you for it.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you do love me, don't you? That's why you murdered Mrs. Badley, so she couldn't blackmail us to end our affair, so we'd be free to do what we wanted forever.
Don't be silly, Mary. I didn't murder Mrs. Badley.
Oh, I was rather under the impression you had.
No. In fact, I thought you were the one who had done for Mrs. Badley.
No, I'm afraid not. It wasn't me that killed her.
Really? So, neither of us is the murderer?
It seems not.
Well, Fancy that. I wonder who is. Of course, it's not proof. I mean, I suppose I could be lying when I said I didn't kill her.
Oh, yes. As of course could I.
Stands to reason. Once you've committed murder, a bit of fibbing is hardly going to bother your conscience, is it?
It doesn't matter. With her out of the way, we're free to love each other as much as we like.
Yes. I don't think so. A chauffeur in love with a scullery maid? It's just not right, is it?
But I thought I was the lady's maid.
The lady's maid? I should think not.
And that Edith... Wasn't Edith the scullery maid?
Edith? I've never heard of an Edith. Who are you talking about?
I don't know. I've never heard of an Edith either.
You do see I couldn't love you, don't you? It was just a bit of fun.
Oh, of course. Not if I'm a scullery maid. I am nothing, after all.
You are nobody.
That's right.
You just get back to your pots and pans, Mary. There's work to be done.
Yes, Mr. Frederick. Sorry, Mr. Frederick.
Shaughnessy, there you are. Hate to disturb you when you're rubbed.
Oh, not at all, Doctor. Is there any way I can be of service to you both?
Well, there is, rather. We've been looking for a clock down here, and we can't find one anywhere.
Really, sir? Ah, I must say that is most peculiar.
That's what we thought, isn't it, Charlie?
Most peculiar, we thought. It's almost deliberate, as if you didn't want there to be any clocks.
Oh, not at all, miss. Very useful items, clocks. Most efficacious in the telling of time. Except...
Except what?
Except the staff here don't need to know the time. It is enough that they are told what to do, and they do it promptly.
They are nothing and nobody, I take it.
Quite so, sir.
And yet, you have a fob watch. I can see it in your pocket.
Yes?
Do you mind if we borrow it for a while?
Oh, there is no need, sir. The time is just after 11. The chimes rang at the moment of Mrs. Badley's unexpected demise.
We don't want to know the time. We just want the watch.
No, I would really rather not. I will keep my watch.
He is Chief Inspector of Scotland Yard, you know.
As I understand it, miss, you and the doctor are a pair of amateur sleuths of no official status whatsoever.
Where's the grandfather clock?
Sir?
The grandfather clock we can hear ticking in the background. It must be upstairs. Charlie, I think it's time we visited the gentry.
Maybe we'll get some answers out of them. Doctor, what is it? Oh,
Mr. Shaughnessy, you're pointing a gun at us.
Yes, sir.
That's not a very nice way for a well-bred butler to behave, is it?
You are not to go upstairs. It is not our place. We only go upstairs when we are summoned, and the bell has not been rung. We're not to go upstairs until the bell has rung.
but Shaughnessy, we're from upstairs, aren't we, Doctor?
Give me the gun, Shaughnessy.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I cannot do that.
You do realize that holding us at gunpoint means we're going to put you right at the top of our list of suspects?
I sincerely regret that, miss, and I apologize if my service is giving you any dissatisfaction. Keep back, Doctor.
Give me the gun.
No.
Give it to me, Shaughnessy.
Keep back.
Doctor?
Very well. Give me the watch.
What?
Well, be fair. You can't very well shoot me with a watch, can you?
Oh, no, Doctor. You're quite right. Here you are, sir.
Thank you.
Not at all. Will that be all?
Yes. Thank you, Shaughnessy. We'll leave you now. Come along, Charlie.
Very good, sir. Very good, miss. If I can be of any further assistance, don't hesitate to find me.
What was all that about?
It sees us as a threat, whatever it is, but it can't yet work out which way we threaten it most. And it can't concentrate on more than one thing at a time, which gives us a distinct advantage.
It does.
Yes, I can concentrate on millions of things at once.
So what time is it?
Oh yes, good point, I'd forgotten. No, that's impossible.
What is it?
It's 11:20.
But it can't be. It only struck the hour a few minutes ago.
Look how fast the second hand is going round. Just look at it.
Doctor, it stopped.
Yes. Why has it done that?
It's as if it can see us. It's as if it's caught us looking at it.
Charlie, that's ridiculous.
No, look. Look at the second hand quivering like that. No, it started again.
Much quicker than before.
It's taken fright, Doctor. Time has taken fright and it's running away.
Faster and faster towards midnight, and we know what will happen then.
Another death?
At the very least, we must get the household together. Quick! Everyone in here!
Come here, quickly!
What's all the fuss about?
What's going on?
What time does it say now?
11:32.
You must listen to me, all of you. We must all stay together in this room.
Doctor, the household has duties.
It'll soon be midnight.
Even more reason we must return to work. His lordship will want to toast Christmas Day with champagne. Mary, get the glasses.
Right away, sir.
No, Mary, you must stay here.
11:39.
All of you, please. There will be another murder committed at midnight. For your safety's sake, we must be together.
Another murder?
How do you deduce that, Doctor?
Both deaths took place exactly on the hour, exactly as the chimes struck.
There's only been one death.
What?
Mrs. Badley's suicide with a plum pudding.
11:44. Doctor, it's going wild.
What about Edith? You must remember Edith.
Edith?
There's no Edith here.
A scullery maid, you must remember.
11:49. Doctor!
Mary here is our scullery maid.
That's right. I'm nothing. I'm nobody.
Doctor, the second hand is just a blur. I can hardly see it.
This is ridiculous. Staff, return to your duties.
At once, Mr. Shaughnessy.
Yes.
No, come back. We must be together when whatever happens, happens.
11:54. 11:55.
Any one of us could be next. Don't you understand? It could be any one of us.
58, 59. Doctor!
No!
The second hand is just a blur. I can hardly see it.
This is ridiculous. Staff, return to your duties.
At once, Mr. Shaughnessy.
Yes.
No, come back. We must be together when whatever happens, happens.
11:54. 11:55.
Any one of us could be next. Don't you understand? It could be any one of us.
58, 59. Doctor! Doctor, what's that?
It sounds like heartbeats.
We're back in the scullery again.
Back where we started.
Doctor, look! It's Edith.
I'm afraid she's dead, Charlie.
But she already was dead.
Well, now she's dead again.
But she was drowned in the sink, and here she's...
Lying on the floor, suffocated by a sink plunger. It is bizarre, to say the least.
What's happening in here?
There was a scream.
I'm afraid your scullery maid is dead.
Oh, no.
Mary, it's all right.
Oh, my goodness, that such a thing could happen in my kitchens.
And she's alive again, too. What's going on?
What do you mean, my poppet?
Charlie, not now.
Frederick, assist the gentleman in removing the sink plunger from Edith's face.
Yes, Mr. Shaughnessy.
This is most unfortunate. To lose a scullery maid on Christmas Eve.
But Edith never was very good at timing, was she?
We can count ourselves lucky, Doctor, that the most famous amateur sleuth in London was being entertained upstairs at the time of this most unhappy accident.
Quite so.
You will be able to solve this case before morning, won't you, Doctor? I don't want it spoiling Christmas. Not when I've got my plum puddings all ready and cooling next door.
Well, Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without one of your plum puddings.
I assume, Doctor, we can safely conclude it was suicide?
Well, probably not. It's impossible to suffocate yourself on a sink plunger. You need someone to hold the other end, you see?
Oh, don't he talk posh with all his scientific terms? Hold the other end, indeed.
Well, Edith was a very stupid girl, Doctor. She may not have known it was impossible when she did it.
She certainly wasn't the brightest button on the waistcoat.
Well, that's as may be. Could you leave us alone, please? Miss Pollard and I have some investigating to do.
Even the best amateur sleuths in London need some privacy to do their sleuthing in.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, staff, obey the Doctor in all things, except in matters concerning the household.
Yes, Mr. Shaughnessy.
What do you make of it, Charlie?
We've gone back in time, haven't we?
Yes, it would seem so. Everyone's saying more or less the same thing, behaving in more or less the same way.
Except poor Edith. If we've gone back in time, why has she been killed in an entirely different way?
I don't know. It's odd, that.
And yet, once again, killed in a manner which reflects her job.
Yes, you'd noticed that, did you? Good. I wonder if you noticed something else.
What's that?
The writing here in the dust. Edith's name and your name beneath it.
What about it?
There's a third signature.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's very faint. Edward Grove.
The mysterious Edward Grove again.
Well, it seems our murderer is getting careless.
What, you're suggesting he came in here, killed Edith with the sink plunger, then accidentally happened to write his name in the dust for us to find?
Yes, sorry. That's ridiculous.
Whoever is leaving us these clues must think we're idiots.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like an artist signing his name at the bottom of a painting.
Yes, interesting. The murders have, after all, been tableaux of some sort or another. The question is why?
No, we're back to why again.
Yes, it does seem our most pressing puzzle at the moment.
Well, at least we should be able to find our killer soon, Doctor. It's pretty simple to solve a murder before it's taken place, and we know what's going to happen. Mrs. Badley in the kitchen, 11 o'clock sharp.
Yes, stay with Mrs. Badley, Charlie. See what happens to her. But do take care, won't you?
Oh, don't worry. What are you going to do?
Check out our hunch. I won't be long. Frederick, just the chap. You're a chauffeur, aren't you?
Yes, Doctor. I drive a Chrysler. No, a Bentley. No, a Chrysler.
Yes, well, we'll not worry about that for the moment. I want you to take me for a drive.
What, now, sir?
Yes, why not?
But it's Christmas Eve, sir.
And it's blowing a blizzard. Look at the snow out the window.
Pretty, like a Christmas card.
I gave you an order, Frederick. You obey orders, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Open the door, Mary, so we can go outside.
What, and let all the cold in, when the fire's barely keeping as warm as it is?
I am a gentleman, remember?
Oh, yes, sir, and I'm nothing.
We are nobody.
Well, now, I never said that. Just open the door for me, there's a dear.
We're not allowed to, Doctor.
We have been forbidden to open the door, to try to leave this house.
Whose orders? The lordship's upstairs?
Our masters.
Yes, well, he's given me no such orders, so I'll open the door myself.
Don't do it, Doctor. Our master has also instructed I'll hit you with his poker if you try.
Did he indeed?
Oh, yes, sir. And he told me to do it very hard.
And I can stab you hard with my knitting needle.
Did your master instruct you to do that too, Mary?
Oh, yes. He was most particular about what I could do to you with my knitting needle, sir.
Please don't do it, Doctor. We don't want to kill you.
Not with you being a famous amateur sleuth and all.
All right, then. I won't.
Well, that's good enough for me.
And me too. I think I'll get back on with my knitting.
I dare say you'll be wanting to get on with your duties too, Doctor.
My duties, sorry?
Yes, detecting and all that.
Yes. No doubt your master will be much happier if I get on with my duties. Keep me in my rightful place and all that.
The chauffeur drives the car, the maid cleans and sews, the detective detects. All nice and simple. Do you think you know who did it yet, Doctor?
I'm beginning to think it may not even matter.
It's just, we've been thinking hard, Frederick and me, and we think we can help you out.
We know who did the murders.
Oh? Who?
Us.
Excuse me?
Oh, hello, my poppet. Goodness, you gave me a fright. I hope you don't mind me singing. That stupid girl Edith has been singing it all day. It's probably the only Christmas carol she knows. Round and round my head it's been going. I can't shake it out.
Well, she won't be singing it any longer, will she?
That's a blessing. With any luck, it means she's putting her back into scrubbing those pots and pans.
Mrs. Badley,
Yes, my poppet.
Edith is dead. Don't you remember?
Oh, yes, of course she is. I was forgetting. Memory like a veritable sieve. Now, my poppet, would you like a piece of plum pudding, seeing as how it's your favourite?
You see, it had to be us. We both had the perfect motive.
Mary and I have been having a bit of a fling, sir, if you'll pardon the expression.
It's not a fling, Frederick. It's love.
Oh, yeah.
See, she caught us at it and was going to tell upstairs. Well, we'd both be sacked, sir.
So you killed her together?
Oh, no, it was only one of us.
We just can't work out which one.
Yes, I see.
If I were you, I'd arrest both of us. Better to be safe than sorry.
You both saw Edith as that much of a threat?
Edith?
Who's talking about Edith? We're talking about Mrs. Badley, the old sow in the kitchen.
But Mrs. Badley isn't dead yet.
Isn't she?
No.
Oh. Well, forget it then. We'd only kill Mrs. Badley. We wouldn't bother with Edith.
Edith is nothing. Edith is nobody.
But you do remember something, don't you? What is it you remember?
Doctor, I haven't been murdered yet, have I?
No, no, of course not.
Well, that's a relief. I was just getting a bit ahead of myself.
But I don't want a piece of plum pudding.
Of course you do. It's your favourite. Don't you remember?
I'm not sure. I remember... something.
Let me cut you a slice.
It is my favourite. And Christmas wouldn't be... it wouldn't be...
Christmas without my plum pudding. You're quite right. There you are, my dear. Try not to chip your teeth on a threatening bit. I was always your favourite too, wasn't I? You were always my favourite. Do you know, Charlie, I only made the plum pudding for you. It was only for you.
What are you doing to me?
You remember, don't you, Charlie? Tell me you remember.
I don't know.
You were the only one who was nice to me. You were the only one who cared. They forgot me the moment I left the room. I was nothing to them. I was nobody.
Oh, I'm feeling dizzy. What's in this plum pudding?
Plums, my poppet. And a lot of love. You were my best friend, Charlie. You were my only friend. I was so horribly upset when you died. You'd been the only one who was kind and you were gone. You do understand, don't you?
I don't understand anything.
You will in time. Now that you're back. Back from the dead, like me.
Oh, please, don't do that.
It's the only carol I know. And I hum the bits where I don't know the words.
I told you not to forget me. I told you to remember who I am.
Edith? Is that you? Where are you?
I told you to remember.
And I did. You're Edith. Edith Thompson. The doctor and I are trying to find out who killed you.
Doesn't matter who killed me. Only why I had to die after all.
What do you mean?
You're alive. Why am I dead if you're still alive? There will be another death soon.
No, Edith, wait.
Edward Grove is alive. I am making Edward Grove alive, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. Please, stop it.
What can I do? Who is Edward Grove?
If you ever cared for me at all, put an end to this.
Would you like another piece of plum pudding? You certainly demolished that one.
Mrs. Badley, your life is in the most terrible danger.
Oh, I don't think that's very likely, Poppet.
At the strike of 11, someone's going to kill you. You must listen to me.
Who's going to hurt me? Especially on Christmas Eve, when I'm making plum pudding. A secret recipe handed down through my family. No one's going to hurt me making plum pudding, are they? Christmas wouldn't be Christmas. Oh, good Lord, what was that?
Quick, it was through here.
There's been another death, Charlie.
Frederick?
I loved him so much. What will I do without him?
Oh, dear Lord, Frederick.
What happened, Doctor?
That's just it, Charlie. I don't know. When the chimes struck, everything seemed to freeze, and when they finished, he was lying there as you see him now.
What are those black marks on his body?
They're tire marks.
Oh, no!
And from the condition of Frederick's body, I'd say he'd been knocked down by a car driving at great speed.
Oh, Freddie, to be killed by your own Chrysler. Or Bentley, whichever it was.
What is all the fuss about now?
Frederick's dead.
So I can see. Yes. I assume it was suicide, Doctor?
Yes, I imagine so. It's quite clear that Frederick brought the car into the house, ran himself over with it, and put it back outside before he finally expired.
Doctor!
Most unfortunate. Still, I suppose we must count our blessings he was only the chauffeur. His services were hardly going to be needed much in this inclement weather. What are you crying about, Mary? Stop it at once.
I can't help it, sir. We were in love with each other.
Nonsense. A chauffeur in love with a scullery maid. The very idea.
But wait, Edith was the scullery maid. Don't you remember?
Edith? Who on earth is Edith?
Am I only the scullery maid? Oh, that's all right then. We couldn't have loved each other. I'm nothing after all. I'm nobody.
Quite right, Mary. Back to your pots and pans.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All of you. Back to work. There's nothing more can be done here now. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, you're very welcome, I'm sure.
What What was all that about? What do you mean, suicide?
Well, they do seem to be very insistent that there's some sort of suicide going on here. Maybe they know something we don't.
But it's preposterous.
I think we've got this all back to front. It seems to me that this is a murder mystery where the murders themselves are the red herrings. Charlie, what is the point of murder?
Well, I don't know. It's to get rid of someone, isn't it?
But the victims here aren't got rid of, are they? They keep coming back. Why do they keep coming back, I wonder?
Well, perhaps...
Yes, Charlie, anything.
Perhaps if you really enjoyed killing, you'd want to do it over and over again.
Pure sadism, you mean? That's an interesting thought.
And a worrying one. If there's some psychopath here who can rewind time.
I can think of a more worrying one.
Oh, dear. Can you?
There's no pleasure taken in the killings here. The deaths are bizarre, grotesque, certainly, but there's no pain. They're alive one moment, the clocks strike, and they're found dead without suffering.
And that worries you more?
Oh, of course. I understand psychopaths. 2 for a penny, they are. I just can't understand what these killings are for. If it's sadism, why does it only happen on the hour, for example?
Well, perhaps the sadism is directed against the people left alive. The killer watches as they get frightened, wondering who's going to die next.
But that's just it. They even have an inkling they're about to die. Frederick told me so himself, but no one here is frightened at all.
I'm frightened.
Oh, yes, Charlie, so am I.
Are you?
Very. The bodies are piling up, Charlie, but I don't think they're going to provide us with any answers.
What about Edith? She's died twice as much as anyone else.
I don't know. It could be that she's just twice as unlucky.
Then why do I keep on seeing her? She tells me to remember her, that everyone else will forget her. And they do, don't they, Doctor? Why are they doing that to her?
Charlie?
She's trying to make me remember, Doctor. She's trying to make me remember something. It's as if she's pulling me into her memories.
What is it, Charlie? What's wrong?
I don't know, Doctor. It's as if there's some force here trying to fit me into this household, trying to make me belong.
Whatever it is, it's wanting to incorporate us into its little world, trying to rationalize us, make us safe. Well, we won't be safe, whatever you are. We'll resist, won't we, Charlie? Just as we always resist the monsters.
It's getting so I don't know what memories are mine and which ones have been given to me. Edith is my friend. I owe her, Doctor. She told me not to forget her, and I mustn't.
Where are you going?
In the scullery. Her name is written in the dust. If it's still there, it's evident she existed, in spite of what everyone else thinks.
Charlie, it's 1906. It's 6 years before you were even born. Whatever false memories you are being given, you owe this Edith nothing. Please come back.
I made her a promise, Doctor. I shan't forget her.
Charlie! Enough of this charade. I refuse to play this game any longer. Not until I'm at least told the rules and get a chance to see the question master first. Come out of hiding. You can kill everyone here. I refuse to investigate any further. Very well. I know a way to bring you into the open.
Oh, let me see. Oh, no! The signature is gone. No trace of Edith Thompson.
You've forgotten me, Charlie.
I want to remember you, but I don't know who you are.
You're just like all the others. I should never have died for you.
Please! I don't know what you mean.
Well, do you want to remember me? Do you want to remember exactly who I am?
Yes, I do.
You will remember nothing but me.
There are words appearing on the table. Not in the dust, but scratched into the woodwork. Edward Grove is alive.
Edward Grove is alive. Together, my poppet, we make him so.
Can you hear me? I know you can. I'm going to go upstairs now. If you want to stop me, you're going to have to show yourself. Right. There, that's the first step. There are only another 8, 9 to go, and I know you want to stop me, don't you? That's step 4. I'd hurry up if I were you. I could be upstairs and through the door in a matter of seconds. And then where would you be, Where would I be, for that matter? Oh, for heaven's sake.
Not go upstairs, Doctor. It is not allowed.
Ah, there you are, Shaughnessy. With your gun, I see. You took your time.
My apologies, sir. I am not as young as I used to be.
No, well, who is?
You will come back down the steps, Doctor, or I will be forced to shoot you.
Oh, certainly, certainly. I have no interest in going upstairs anyway. Just a lot of void and blackness, I'll be bound. Been there, seen that. No interest in it. I just wanted to draw you out into the open so we could talk face to face.
I am not the murderer, Doctor.
No, of course, I know that. A nice, well-bred butler like you going around killing people? What nonsense. Besides, who ever heard of the butler doing it? I dare say that you haven't even the faintest idea why you're pointing a gun at me, have you?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'd better put it away.
Oh, no sudden moves, Shaughnessy. I don't think we should surprise whatever force made you threaten me with it. Keep the gun pointing at me, there's a good chap, so he doesn't get nervous. I knew that if I did something to frighten it, like trying to go upstairs, it would be forced to use one of you to take direct action against me.
Please, Doctor. What's happening? Why do I feel that I'm losing control? I should never lose control. I'm a butler. My father was a butler. I come from a whole family of butlers. I am a modicum of self-restraint.
Keep the gun pointing at me, that's the idea. The consequence of a time loop, Shaughnessy. You're going round and round in circles so often, it's dulled everyone here to a state of hypnosis, which I'm sure is ideal for the force at work to manipulate how it wills.
What force is it, Doctor? What is killing my staff over and over again?
Whoever is responsible for this is feeding off remarks that Charlie and I have made to each other. Chance comments about amateur sleuths. Chance accidents like the breaking of a jam jar. Somebody here witnessed all that and incorporated them into the time loop.
But who was it? Who was it who was with you?
You know what Edward Grove is, don't you, Shaughnessy?
Of course, Doctor. This is Edward Grove. Number 22, Edward Grove.
It's as I thought. The only witness to all that has been going on here is the house itself. Edward Grove is the killer, and we are standing within his belly.
You're scrubbing those pots and pans very well, Mary.
Thank you, sir.
Put them aside for a moment, and pick up the poker there, and help me kill the Doctor. Chopping vegetables, I see, Mrs. Baddeley. Those carrots look almost good enough to eat.
Come Christmas morning, it'll be a veritable banquet, sir.
I'm sure it will. Now leave your carrots, but take the knife, and help me kill the Doctor.
It could only have been the house, although I do wonder what pleasure it can possibly take in all this.
I'm sorry, sir, but I'm getting an irresistible urge to shoot you in the head.
Well, stiff upper lip and all that. What's the problem, Edward? Getting a bit too close to the truth for you?
We've come to kill the Doctor.
We've come to kill the Doctor.
Instructions from his lordship?
That's right.
You're all prepared to take orders from a pile of bricks and wood?
Our master is his lordship. Our mistress is her ladyship.
And to them, we are nothing and nobody.
Really? And what do they look like, these masters of yours?
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
We don't discuss them. It's not our place.
Poppycock, if you've seen them, you know what they look like. Are they old, young, short, tall?
We will kill you, Doctor.
Oh, I don't think so. All the deaths here occur only on the hour, exactly as the chimes strike. I don't think you'll be able to break that, not an efficient little household like you.
Are you prepared to gamble your life on that, Doctor?
I've gambled it on much worse. You can't hurt me, Edward Grove. Not until the chimes strike.
Then time shall speed up, Doctor.
And you can all answer my question first. What do they look like, the people you serve? Old, young, short, tall, fat,
Stop
thin?
it, Doctor!
Stop it!
You are not nothing. You are worth more than a heap of architecture. If they're human, describe your masters. Short, tall, fat, thin, with glasses without, bearded, clean-shaven, or else your servants with no one to serve.
I'm pretty sure her ladyship doesn't have a beard.
Your master has no rights over you. Acknowledge it and set yourselves free.
Of course we have a human master.
Then prove it. Where is he?
Here is his daughter. Now,
Oh, there you are, everyone. Are you all looking forward to Christmas Day?
Oh, yes, Miss Pollard.
Charlie?
Who is this man, Shaughnessy?
this is the Doctor, miss.
Oh, yes, of course. The famous amateur sleuth.
Charlie, don't you know me?
No doubt you're here for our Christmas party, Doctor. It starts at the chimes of midnight.
No, miss. On the chimes of midnight, we're going to kill him.
Oh, I see. That would explain the gun and the knife and the... Oh, what's that, Mary?
Poker, miss.
Poker, yes. Isn't that a little extreme?
Orders from his lordship, miss. We don't question.
Oh, nor would I. We must know our place. Well, carry on.
Charlie, please. Remember who you are. You are Charlie Pollard.
Well, of course I'm Charlie Pollard. Is it nearly midnight, Shaughnessy?
Yes, miss. 11:50, 51, 52,
Listen to me, all of you. You must have your own will. Find it.
58, 59, Kill him!
What's happening?
It's midnight again. I think we're going back to the beginning.
Oh, Doctor, I'm sorry. I knew you, and yet I didn't know you. It was making me part of it all.
I was right. It seems to lose control on the hour. It can speed up time, it can influence it, but it can't control its effects. Maybe Edward Grove is as much of a victim of this as we all are.
What can we do?
Keep our wits about us, Charlie, and expect anything.
Back in the
And back in the scullery again.
with Edith's body lying dead on the floor.
What's happening in here?
It's a scullery maid. She's been bludgeoned to death with a broom handle.
Suicide, of course.
Oh, my goodness, that such a thing could happen in my kitchens.
Except we don't have a scullery maid.
That's right. I've never even heard the name Edith Thompson.
And if we had done, we wouldn't care anyway.
Seeing as she's only the scullery maid.
Nothing.
Nobody.
What do we do, sir? About the doctor and Miss Pollard?
Nothing at all. They've nothing to investigate. Our master will take care of them in his own good time.
And they no longer even know Edith at all.
I think you're right, Charlie. Edith must be the key to this. And Edward Grove is using her death somehow.
What's going on, Doctor? Who is Edward Grove?
It's the house, Charlie. The house is alive, and it's feeding.
Feeding? Feeding on what?
On all the death here, on all the life. What we say and do, what those poor servants out there say and do, it's absorbing us both into a little murder mystery that's going round and round. It has a role for you, and you're finding it harder to resist it. And I'm sure in time I'll be sucked into my role too.
How is this possible? It's just a house.
Some people have theories about ghosts, that a house itself absorbs the history of the actions within it, and that an event traumatic enough can actually be preserved for posterity.
Yes, I've heard that.
Can you imagine what would happen if a house was given nothing but traumatic events? That it was stuck in a time loop going backwards and forwards forever, each time playing the same trauma, each time playing the same brutal act of violence. What would that do to a house?
It's becoming alive, isn't it, Doctor? Just as Edith said.
In some form. It's storing up all the energy of that violence, it's feasting on it. And every time it replays a death, it becomes more and more sentient.
Edward Grove is alive.
If that's true, then the house cannot be the cause of it. It's been given life by whatever paradox started the time loop. If we could only find out the trigger for all of this. Charlie, I want us to get out of here. I want us to go to the TARDIS and get out of here.
You want us to run away? But we never do that.
If we don't leave and leave now, we'll be trapped here for all eternity.
Doctor, you're not thinking of leaving us.
Yes.
And taking Miss Pollard with you. Is that true, my poppet? But I've so much plum pudding to feed you.
Keep away from me.
Don't you want to solve our little mystery?
I have solved it. This place is a trap, going round and round forever.
Oh, that's not the half of it.
And what will happen to us, Doctor? Will we be going round and round?
And round and round.
And round forever. When you escape, Doctor, won't you take us with you?
I'm sorry, I can't. You are part of the trap. You are the time loop. I'm sorry.
So you think we are nothing after all? We are nobody.
Open the larder door, Charlie, and get into the TARDIS. The house will do whatever it can to stop us leaving.
Yes, Doctor.
Oh, no, Doctor. You've already demonstrated that Edward Grove cannot harm you except on the hour.
Now, if you will go, then go.
I'm sorry.
Just go.
Doctor, those people, will they really be going round in circles forever?
I don't know, Charlie. I think so, yes.
There was nothing we could do, was there?
No, if we took any part of the paradox with us, we'd be as stuck as they were. Like flies caught in amber. You already felt the power of the house drawing you into its feeding cycle.
Are you all right?
No, let's just get as far away from that place as possible.
Doctor, do you hear something?
No, Charlie, what is it?
The grandfather clock. It's the ticking of that clock.
That's impossible.
Doctor!
Not now, Charlie!
The scene from the scullery! It's appearing out of thin air!
The whole room!
The console! Where has it gone?
The house is absorbing it!
Doctor, what's happening? Doctor!
Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor! Doctor
I was wrong to think we could escape the house. Instead, we've taken the house with us.
Doctor, do you hear something?
No, Charlie, what is it?
The grandfather clock. It's the ticking of that clock.
That's impossible.
Doctor!
Not now, Charlie.
The sink from the scullery! It's appearing out of thin
The
air!
whole room.
The console! Where has it gone?
The house is absorbing it.
Doctor, what's happening? Doctor!
I was wrong to think we could escape the house. Instead, we've taken the house with us.
The scullery has completely reformed around us.
Oh, the entire house, I imagine.
But where's the TARDIS? Where has the TARDIS gone?
I think we're still in her. But just as Edward Grove seemed determined to fit both of us within its blinkered world view, so it sees the TARDIS as nothing more than an extension of itself.
In that case, if we're still within the TARDIS, what's the TARDIS doing standing in the larder?
Oh, it's even worse than I feared. I thought we were caught simply in a temporal loop, not a spatial one as well.
Come on, Doctor. Let's get back inside and take off again.
We can't, Charlie. It's not going to work.
It's worth a try, surely. I'm going to open the TARDIS door and... Oh, no.
What have you found?
Inside the TARDIS, it's another scullery, just the same as this one.
It is the same as this one, Charlie. I'm prepared to bet that if you went in there and opened the larder door, you'd find another TARDIS standing there with another scullery inside that one.
But how can that be?
It's another effect of the time loop. I'd imagine that the scullery through there is in the future, not by much, just by the merest nanosecond. We're looking at infinity, Charlie, infinite time and space, reduced to the dimensions of a few rooms in a cold Edwardian house on Christmas Eve.
What do we do? How can we escape?
How do you escape infinity? All time and space compressed into one paradox. We've arrived in the TARDIS. We haven't yet arrived at all. We are in the process of arriving.
We've become like the poor people in this house, going round and round forever.
They've never died before, and at the same time they've been dying every hour as the clock chimes forever. Because there is no time here, do you understand? This is the past, this is the present, this is the future, looping around, as it always has been looping around, stuck in a rut since the beginning of time.
Doctor.
And we have been here forever too, Charlie. Soon this is all we'll know, because soon this is the only place we'll have ever been. This is our past and our destiny, the beginning and end of our travels, all rolled into one. We live for 2 short hours, or we live forever, whichever way you want to look at it.
You can't give up, Doctor. I can't believe there isn't a way out of this. You said if we could find the cause of the paradox.
Charlie, I'm so sorry, Charlie. The paradox is us. It's us. We're already here, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Ah, Doctor, Miss Pollard. We thought you had escaped from here.
Is there any escape?
Oh no, my little poppet.
Once you're in service at Edward Grove, you're in service for life.
For life and beyond.
And yet you were worried we might escape, weren't you, just for a second?
Doctor, our master wishes to speak with you.
Oh, really? What a pity I can't talk cement. Will his lordship be wanting me to go upstairs?
You're to be honoured. He's coming down to meet you.
We're all honoured.
Charlie, my poppet, our master doesn't need to speak to you.
Oh. I'm not sure if I'm flattered or insulted.
So you may leave us.
Doctor,
Where has she gone? What have you done with her?
Don't worry, Doctor. Mr. Grove has other duties for her to perform.
If you have harmed her in any way...
What will you do, Doctor? You can hardly kill us. We'll just come back to life again.
Don't distress yourself, Doctor. Mr. Grove is most adamant that Miss Pollard be kept safe and well. She is the means of his birth, after all.
She is.
And if he has harmed her, inadvertently like, I'm sure she'll get put back together eventually. Things have a habit of doing that in this house.
You all seem so much more aware of what is going on here.
Our master is growing in strength, Doctor.
And no longer needs secrets kept from his good and trusted servants.
Edward Grove is alive, and soon he'll be the alivest of us all.
And when will he be here?
As the clock strikes 11.
I shall check my watch. 10:53, 10:54, 10:55.
Well, he's certainly in a hurry, isn't he?
He's coming. Everybody, bow down to his lordship. Good day, Mr. Grove.
Good day, Mr.
Mr.
Grove.
There you are, Doctor.
Edward Grove, I presume.
You presume correctly.
And you're alive, I gather. Well done.
I
You must find the lack of limbs a bit of an irritation, let alone the absence of mouth or vocal cords, so I assume this is why you're having to use those which rightfully belong to Mr. Shaughnessy here.
just for the moment. It is good to meet you at last. I've been dying to do so ever since I first felt you rummaging about in my body. Please, won't you be seated?
Edith, are you here?
Yes, my poppet. Here I am. I needed to speak to you, my poppet. I need your help.
Please, where are you? Don't leave me here alone in the dark.
I daren't show my face, Charlie. What if you don't remember me? You say you'll remember me, but what if you don't?
What do you mean?
What would have been the point? Of all that blood, of all that pain. If you'd never really cared for me in the first place.
Edith, you want my help, you said.
I need your help.
I'll help you, but you must show yourself to me.
You promise you'll help me?
I promise.
You are a good and kind girl. You always were. Well, do you know me?
Yes? You're the cook. You're the cook in my father's family house in Hampshire.
You do remember. Oh, my child.
But that was in 1930. It's 1906 now. What are you doing here?
Long before I became a cook, I worked as a scullery maid. That's the Edith you have seen.
But you died. You died in 1906. I saw you.
I've died many times, Charlie. Times without number.
I didn't recognize you. Even being so much younger than when I knew you, I should have recognized you.
Oh, my poppet. You're 19 years old. By the time I was 19, I'd already been in service 5 years and looked closer to 30. Looks fade faster when you're below stairs. Time moves quicker for the likes of us.
Then you made me plum pudding.
Lots of plum pudding. Always your favourite, that was. I made it just for you. Only for you. You were the only one who ever showed me kindness, Charlie. The only one.
What do you want, Edith?
I need to know. Am I alive? Or am I dead?
Why do you ask me?
Because I died for you, my poppet. You're the only one I died for. The only one.
What is that?
Just the chiming of the clock, Doctor. I have slowed down time so that I can speak with you.
Of course, the only moments of influence you have are when the clock chimes, aren't they?
I derive my power from the time loop, as you call it. I can speed it up, I can slow it down, but I can only feel fully alive when I can hear the time pass with the chiming of the clock.
And that's why you could only kill on the hour, and why Charlie and I were only allowed to enter the house properly when the clock struck.
Quite so. Mary, would you fetch the doctor a cup of tea?
Certainly, sir.
Presumably, if you can impose your will on them, you needn't ask.
True, but there's so much more piquancy in having servants than slaves.
Oh, I'm sure. The tea always tastes better when it's made by free will, doesn't it? What a pity you don't have a mouth to drink it with.
It is a pity, I admit. But it's nice to have tea made for me, just the same.
What you are doing is obscene. You're just an enormous parasite, feeding off the lives and hopes of these poor people.
They don't have any lives or hopes, Doctor. They're just the working staff.
You're using their death just to sustain your own pointless life.
But they never really die, Doctor. Not really.
We always come back at the chimes of midnight.
We always come back.
I wouldn't hurt them, Doctor. Their deaths are never cruel.
They may never really die, but trapped here, going round in little circles, they never really live either. Surely you can see that.
But we never really lived anyway, not as the working staff.
Our lives already going round in little circles.
We are nothing. We are nobody.
You can't really believe that.
What would their lives have ever amounted to, Doctor? It's the people upstairs who make the decisions which affect the world. It's the people upstairs who make a difference.
You can't know that for sure.
Their masters upstairs would have used up their lives for their own ends, just as I do. But I do it a little more honestly, perhaps.
And you are prepared to condemn them all to die, 1,000,000 sham deaths, not even real deaths. Just parodies of death, so that you have a chance of life?
Quite so. Ah, the kettle's boiled. Do you take milk and sugar, Doctor?
I don't care.
I don't know how to serve your tea unless you tell me, Doctor. It's not my place to make decisions like that on my own.
Just a spot of milk for the Doctor, Mary. Leave the sugar, and he can add it to taste.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And what will you do with your life?
What do you mean?
When the only life you can have is going round in tiny circles, what good is it to you? I don't want my tea, thank you.
Oh, Doctor, you've broken my best china.
It doesn't matter, because at midnight it'll come back together again. None of it matters, because nothing you do can have the slightest consequence. Each action you take wiped out without the slightest effect. So what is the point in your life at all? What will you do with it?
Nothing. Why should I want to do anything?
I'm the cook. I make plum pudding.
I'm the maid. I clean and scrub.
I'm the chauffeur who drives a car.
And I'm the house who watches over them all.
And you would go so far for something so petty.
There's nothing petty about life, Doctor. Just to breathe, to feel, to exist. Edward Grove is alive. That's enough for me.
You say I was the only one.
You were the only one who ever cared a fig for me. It didn't matter which house I worked in, it was always the same. Those upstairs, those downstairs, they despised me just the same. I was only the scullery maid. I was the woman who cleaned the floors when I was young and chopped the vegetables when I was old.
But you think I was different.
You made my life worthwhile, didn't you, my poppet?
I didn't think we spoke very often.
Oh, we didn't, but when you did, you remembered my name. And when you didn't want to speak, you'd smile at me. You always smiled at me, didn't you, my poppet? You were my best friend. You were my only friend.
Look to your work. I want those pots cleaned and the dust cleared.
Wherever I worked, the butlers would always bully me.
What is it I always tell you, Edith?
I'm nothing, sir. I'm nobody. The rest of the house were never any better.
Well, Edith was a very stupid girl. She may not have known it was impossible when she did it.
What they'd say behind my back. I was stupid, but I wasn't that stupid.
You couldn't love Edith, could you? No one could love somebody quite that dense.
As the years went by, I could never even find love. Oh, sometimes I thought I had, but it wasn't love they were after. I was mistaken.
You do see I couldn't love you, don't you, Edith?
No, of course. I'm a scullery maid. I'm nothing. Nothing at all.
You are nobody.
That's right.
You had an affair with Frederick.
No, not him. Another chauffeur in 1926. He seduced me in the back of his Chrysler, then pretended it had never happened.
The chauffeur? You love the scullery maid? The idea.
But it's Frederick's voice I can hear.
They all merge into one, my poppet. All the bullying butlers, all the chauffeurs, the cooks. Just as to all them, I was only the scullery maid. Just the scullery maid.
This house, Edward Grove, it's playing out your entire life. That's what we're seeing being looped, isn't it? Bits of your life all thrown together at random.
Edward Grove is alive, and we are making him so. He is feeding off our lives, Charlie.
And the death too? What happened, Edith? Why does it keep replaying death over and over again? What happened to you? Edith?
I died for you, Charlie. I died for you because you were the only one worth dying for.
No, please.
When you died, I knew there was nothing left to live for. But you came back. You came back from the dead. You're alive, my poppet. So what was my sacrifice for?
Can I offer you another cup of tea, Doctor? Since you finished your last so abruptly.
No.
Mary is on hand, itching to pour you another. How about a piece of plum pudding? Mrs. Baddeley would be only too happy to rustle you up a piece.
I certainly would, sir.
You're being very civil to me. Quite the perfect gentleman, in fact.
Thank you. It's in the breeding.
Especially considering you wanted me dead earlier.
You must forgive me for that. I was only a child then, tasting life for the first time. I did not know what I know now.
And what's that?
You and Miss Pollard are the bringers of life to me, Doctor. In a way, I look on you as my parents.
You mean we're the ones who created the time paradox? How did we do it?
Is there anything the servants can get you, Doctor? It is such fun giving them little chores to do.
No, thank you.
Very well. You may leave, all of you, and return to your duties. I shall chime if I need anything.
Very good, sir.
Yes, sir.
No doubt I'll need another death at some point when I'm feeling hungry. I'll let you know which one of you I'll choose near the time.
Thank you, sir.
You do need death, don't you? The focus of your energy, the incident which caused the time loop. It was a death, wasn't it? A real death. Not one of those fakes that you show.
I show the echoes of death. Everything here is an echo of it. The life before her death. The despair which drove her to it.
It's Edith, isn't it? Edith Thompson.
Edith Thompson, who killed herself in 1930.
She committed suicide, of course she did. Everyone was so certain she had.
I can still feel the fear and the pain of that death, over and over again, like warm blood pumping through my veins.
But if she died in 1930, why is the time loop here in 1906?
Because this is when you arrived, Doctor. And as soon as you did so, the reason for her death over 20 years later becomes impossible. And yet she does die in 1930. It's already happened.
She didn't even die in Edward Grove, did she? It's the paradox which happens here.
It isn't her death which has given me life. It's her dying and yet not dying. Her being alive and dead at the same moment. Thanks to you, Father. Thanks to you. It has made me alive. It has made me dead.
It wasn't until early November that they told us you were dead. I remember it was November, the weather had turned cold and wet. There was always muddy footprints to scrub from the kitchen floor. When you ran away from us, no one knew where you'd gone. But they told us you'd been in some big airship which had crashed a world away. In France.
The R101. But I was rescued by the doctor.
They found your diary in the wreckage. They brought it home. The house was in mourning, but I wasn't allowed to mourn. Me, who had been your best friend, when you'd been the only person who had ever been kind to me. When I loved you so much, they didn't let me mourn. I wasn't allowed to care that you had gone forever, not even when I'd loved you the most of all of them.
Edith, the little kindness I showed you, if I even did, I didn't deserve your love. I'm not worth all this.
Christmas in the house wasn't the same. No one wanted my plum pudding that year, which is just as well because I didn't want to make it. I only ever made it for you. It was only for you, my poppet. And they all forgot me. Everybody forgot me, as they always did. And on Christmas Eve, late at night, I came down to the kitchen, all by myself, and picked up a carving knife.
No.
I didn't want to live. Not if you weren't alive. Not if my only friend was dead.
That scream we always heard, it was you.
It took me a long time to die, but I did it eventually. I died in the end. Just like you. Just like my Charlie.
What do you want of me?
I want you to die, if you're meant to be dead. Or I want you to live if you're meant to be alive, but I want one or the other, so that I know whether I'm dead or alive. So that I know whether I sliced my wrists open that Christmas Eve in 1930 or not.
Edward, listen. Some freak phenomenon has made you sentient. An accident. One chance in several billion. Over a single 2 hours stretched backwards and forwards throughout eternity, you have evolved and learned to think and reason.
It is an astonishing achievement.
It is astonishing, but it's not an achievement. You haven't achieved anything.
I have achieved life.
No, I'm sorry, I really am. You talk of blood in your veins, you talk of breathing, of feeling, but you have no veins. You have nothing to feel with. You're intelligent, you're emotional, and you're dangerous too, very probably, but it's not life.
You are wrong, Doctor.
Think about it. Even now, you only get a grasp on anything which even resembles life at the times that the chimes strike. The 6th chime. Time is marching on. You can't hold it back forever. What are you going to do?
What do you advise, Doctor?
Give up this impossible dream of living. I can only communicate with you now through Shaughnessy, through another living being, independent of you, more deserving than you of life because he already has it.
I know I can only be a fraction of the simplest of my servants. They will always be more than me.
So let them go, Edward. Let them live their lives, however empty you may think them, however meaningless they seem even to them. You have learned intelligence. Let's see if you have learned compassion as well.
You are asking me to commit suicide.
I am. I'm sorry.
Well, my poppet. Well, my Charlie, are we alive? Or did we die?
I can feel fire burning hot on my face, then rushing at me. No, what are you doing to me?
You've got to know. I've got to know. Everyone has a right to know whether they're alive or dead.
People screaming, wood snapping, breaking, the ground rushing ever closer. I knew I was dead. I knew it had all gone wrong, that I was dead.
Put an end to this doubt. Know for sure whether we live or die.
Oh, dear God, I'm dead. I can feel it now. Sick certainty as I realise I have seconds to live, that there's no escape. Dear God, I'm dead.
And the doctor?
Who is the doctor?
I have tasted life, Doctor. How can I let go of it now?
You exist only as a spark, Edward, only as the very germ of life for a few seconds. Can you honestly say that those scant moments are worth all the years that this household would enjoy?
I was trying to extend those seconds of influence, Doctor, to learn in time how I could exist for the entire 2 hours. I see that I was wrong.
That's good.
You have shown me that instead, I could simply loop those few seconds back on themselves. As the chimes stop ringing, they will start again, forever and ever.
No, that wasn't what I meant at all.
I would crush the whole of my existence into one single eternal moment. If in that moment I can truly say I'm alive.
And crush out the lives of everyone here in the process.
Nonsense. I shall make them immortal.
I can't let you do that.
You haven't got the power to stop me, Doctor.
If I can just stop Edith killing herself.
You cannot reach her. She is where the dead go before the loop begins again. And even now, your friend Charlie is living out those moments, which will ensure the paradox is made.
I can reach her. If I become your next murder victim. Every hour you kill someone, Edward, and it's still 11 o'clock. The chimes haven't yet finished ringing.
We must put an end to this, you and I. We must both use this knife. We're not alive. We should not pretend. We're dead.
Yes.
You die first, then I shall die. That's the way it's meant to be. Clear and simple. Take the knife, my puppet. It'll be over in a moment. And then we shall both have peace.
I'm hardly likely to kill you, Doctor.
Oh, I think you might. Shaughnessy, are you still in there?
Yes, sir?
I am a gentleman, aren't I? And your orders are to obey me without question.
Oh, no!
I want you to put your hands around my throat and throttle the life out of me.
Sir?
Come on, man. Chop chop. What are you waiting for? Christmas?
No! Leave the Doctor alive! I can't help it. I can't resist a direct order from a gentleman.
I shall defeat you, Edward Grove.
No, Doctor. I will enjoy my few seconds of eternal life. Next time I have my power, at the chimes of midnight, I shall loop back time, and you shall live within my living body forever.
Do it now. Be brave, my puppet, and set us all free.
Stop! Here, but not here. Charlie, is that you? I can barely see you, can't reach you. What are you doing? Talk me through it, explain it to me.
I'm putting things to rights. I'm putting an end to this.
No, Charlie, you mustn't. Listen to me. It's the doctor. Don't you remember me?
But I don't know the doctor. He never rescued me.
Of course you know me, Charlie. Please, listen to me.
But I'm dead! Why didn't you rescue me? How can I be dead and alive at the same time?
Are you dead, my puppet, or are you alive?
I don't know!
Am I dead or am I alive? You must know. You must decide.
Charlie, please, you didn't die. Right or wrong, we changed history. We changed all that. Whatever the consequences, we chose life. And that's what you must do now, Charlie.
Help me, I'm so scared.
You must choose life. You must choose life now. Listen to my voice, Charlie. Can you hear my voice?
I can hear people screaming. I can hear fire burning.
Choose, Charlie. Make your choice.
My voice, Charlie. Focus on my voice. It's the doctor. It's the doctor.
I don't remember you.
Charlie, I need you. Without you, we'd never have broken the curse upon Count Orsino. Without you, the Cyanobots would still be ruling Earth. Without you, I'd never have found that first edition of Oliver Twist in Charing Cross Road. And without you, I would just be a lonely old man, rattling around in the TARDIS with no one to talk to. My life going round and round without meaning. My life going round in circles.
I remember the TARDIS.
And you need me. Without me, you would never tread upon the beaches of alien worlds, or marvel at the eclipse of new suns, the birth of new stars. You have seen the universe, Charlie, and you have made a difference to me.
But I see the flames. I hear the screams.
No longer, Charlie. You must remember me. You must remember the doctor.
I remember the doctor. I choose to live. Edith, I choose to live.
If you're alive, does that mean I can stay alive too?
Of course. Please, Edith, choose to live as well.
And what of me? I'm never going to see the universe. I'm never going to make a difference.
Edith, please, put down the knife. Doctor, stop her.
Edith.
I'm just a scullery maid. I'm nothing. I'm nobody.
What's happening?
It's Edward Grove, racing time on towards midnight, then he can trap us here forever.
Goodbye, Charlie.
Edith, don't do it. Die and the time loop will go on. Die and you'll be dying forever.
I need you to die, Edith. Kill yourself now!
Obey your master. You'll never be anything.
Don't listen to them, Edith.
Who could love a scullery maid?
Who could care for you?
Will you remember me, Charlie?
Of course I'll remember you.
You'll think of me on your alien worlds. You'll think of Edith.
I promise.
Then I'll still make a difference, won't I? I'll still make a difference.
You are nothing. You are nobody.
No! I will not kill myself. However bad it might be, however lonely I might get, I choose to live.
No! I want to live. I need to live. Doctor, help me.
Paradox has been broken. There's nothing I can do.
Make her kill herself. It's her life or mine. Please, it's her life or mine.
Exactly.
Where has everything gone?
The time loop has been broken. The house has been expelled from the TARDIS.
What does that mean? Does that mean everything is all right?
I imagine we're about to find out.
Herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on God and singers reconciled.
What is all this noise?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't hear you come in.
I should think you didn't, Edith. Not with all that caterwauling. Are you still scrubbing the pots and pans? Look, get a move on, girl. It's nearly midnight. Edith, what was that?
I'm sure I don't know, sir. I think it came from the larder.
Ah, yes, Charlie, here we are, back again. Now, let's wait and see, shall we?
Excuse me, sir. Do you mind if I ask who you are?
Not at all, not at all. I'm the doctor, and this is my niece, Miss Pollard. We're guests of his lordship, and what was I again, Charlie?
He's an inspector from Scotland Yard, and we've been inspecting your larder.
That's right. His lordship was telling us what a fine larder he has, and he wasn't exaggerating. It's absolutely splendid. Do pass my compliments on to your scullery maid. I know she has a great future ahead of her.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, pass them on then.
Well done, Edith. You are a fine scullery maid.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm quite overcome.
Midnight, I presume.
Christmas Day at last.
We made it. Come on, Charlie, let's get out of here. Merry Christmas to you both.
Won't you be joining his lordship in celebration upstairs, sir?
No, I don't think so. I love Christmas, but I always find the anticipation better than the actual thing.
Oh, and Edith, remember, you are not nothing. You are not nobody. You are Edith Thompson. Be proud of that.
Yes, miss. Thank you, miss. I will remember.
Come on, Charlie, tell me we're leaving.
Doctor,
What is it, Charlie?
I can still remember. I still remember the flames, the screams. I still remember.
Yes.
I can still remember dying. Doctor, what does it mean?
I think... Well, you see... No, not now. Come on, Charlie, let's get away from here.
But when? I have to know.
Soon, I promise. Now, in. Quickly.
I am Edith Thompson. I am somebody.
It was at the Singapore Hilton, on the cusp of the years 1930 and 1931, that I first met Mr. Sebastian Grail. I was sitting in the tea gardens at midnight on that New Year's Eve, looking down at the junks in the harbour, lit up with lanterns and setting off fireworks. I was wondering if I'd done the right thing. I was there for Charlie. Her journey on the R101 where I'd met her had been with the intention of keeping an appointment in Singapore with a chap called Alex.
He's such a chum. But won't he expect me to be dead?
Last night, I stopped the TARDIS in that year and sent messages ahead.
Goodness!
Had nothing to do with it. The old girl's still having some of her funny turns. It took 6 tries to get her here.
He dances divinely, and he always has something stunning in his buttonhole.
Sounds like a man after my own heart. I'll not meet him now.
What? Why?
Because I'm not a gooseberry.
Well, obviously.
And there's a spot in the tea gardens at the Singapore Hilton where the humidity isn't so oppressive. And you can hear everything across the harbour. Perfect place to witness the New Year celebrations. And now it's just out there. Come on, off we go. No, wait.
What?
This hat. Is it me?
Oh, Doctor. It really suits you.
I left the TARDIS in a side street near the hotel. Charlie found Alex by one of the bars, as per my message. I stayed back for a moment, watching them. Their happiness was obvious, and reminded me of why I'd saved Charlie in the first place, however many laws of time I'd broken. Just one promising life had been saved, and that was enough. The chap took Charlie's arm and showed her his buttonhole. They ordered their gin slings and headed for the terrace where, as Charlie had promised this man before her adventures began, the sun was just going down. I had a quiet word with the concierge, found my favourite spot in the garden, and called for some tea and newspapers. I was looking for stories concerning the R101 crash. There was still quite a bit of coverage. I devoured it as night fell and the celebrations in the harbour began. My interest was somewhat a matter of maudlin reflection. I may have saved one, but how many had I failed to save? I was deep in my own thoughts when a shadow fell over me. Thinking it was Charlie, I didn't even glance up. You're back a bit early, aren't you, Charlie? How's Alex?
Not very perceptive of you, Doctor. I am not your charming companion.
I should have known. She doesn't have a moustache. Have we met?
It's a complex question. My name is Sebastian Grail. May I join you?
Be my guest. Could we have 2 more pots of tea, please? Thanks.
It's a pleasure to see you here.
And you. Not that I know who you are. How do you feel about this hat?
Such folly. Such arrogance.
Such a pleasure not to meet a yes man. Here. Looks so much better on you.
For once, your mockery does not infuriate me, Doctor. This time, I am the one in control.
Yes, I'm sure you are, but I'm still pretty certain we haven't met.
Oh, but we have, Time Lord.
Are you confusing me with someone else? I'm not the one who says you must obey me, I don't meddle, and I'm not a glamorous woman at the moment.
We are old acquaintances. In my past, but in your future.
You've broken the first law of time.
Not at all. I am immortal, thanks to my masters. I have waited through the generations for this meeting, so I can finally look you in the eye, finally allow myself to feel the satisfaction of your death.
My death? What have you done?
Only now do you begin to feel the bite of it. I have killed you, Doctor. Not only that, but I have delivered this world to my masters. Look around you. Look at those poor fools in the harbour, celebrating the turn of a year they don't even acknowledge. They are illusions, Doctor. This timeline no longer truly exists, and neither do they. My masters resurrected this place using their power over time, simply so I could indulge a whim to see my foe face to face at last. The reality is much changed. My masters are the masters of Earth. In the real universe, this planet is their feeding ground.
But everything feels...
That is how complete their mastery over time has become. Your own people, Doctor, in this new timeline are no longer the lords of existence. That honor has fallen to my employers.
Who are?
I think I will let that remain as a surprise.
I'll prevent this.
But it's already happened. You can't rely on the history you know, Doctor. Not anymore. My task is done. And now I shall take my leave of you. Revenge is sweet, but I have drunk deeply enough. We shall not meet again.
Wait, stop! Oh, Charlie!
Doctor, you have to meet Alex. He's in the other
Did you
room.
just pass a man going out as you were coming in?
He's absolutely charming.
Well, I don't think so.
You don't know him.
Well, no, but he said he'd killed me.
Alex Grail said he'd killed you.
Not Alex. Grail? Alex is also called Grail,
Also,
as well as Sebastian.
who's Sebastian?
Sebastian is the Grail who says he's killed me.
Have you been fighting with Alex's granddad? He told me they'd met up earlier today.
Granddad? My Aunt Flavia, he's his granddad. He's an immortal.
I'm very confused.
So is time. Charlie, something awful has happened sometime in the past.
Is this anything to do with, you know, rescuing me?
I don't know. I doubt it. This is quite different. Apparently this is a ruse, a falsehood. In reality, the monsters have taken over.
Then how can everything be like this?
Later, Charlie, later. We have to get back to the TARDIS before they decide they don't need this pretend timeline anymore.
Doctor, what? Oh, wait for me!
Come on, Charlie. We've got a world to save. Which means that the web of time has been unspun. These Masters Grail talks about have shattered it. The rules don't exist anymore. Grail can do anything he likes. I've got the TARDIS out of the false timeline at least. We're being battered by time storms in all directions. The disruption to the original timeline is vast.
Doctor, this problem with time, please be honest with me now. Is it my fault?
Your fault?
I was talking to Alex. Apparently the newspapers are saying that nobody could have survived the blast that brought down the R101. Remember what Edith Thompson said? I died. They found my diary and everything. Oh, Doctor, if you hadn't rescued me, I would be dead too, wouldn't I? I've read novels on this subject. The person who is rescued when actually their time has come. What you did, it disrupted time. It must have. Have I caused this to happen?
It's possible. But no, of course, it isn't true. If I'm not allowed to rescue just one person, no, it's ridiculous. Charlie, you're right. If I hadn't shown up, you would have died on the R101. But time has a way of sorting these things out. Grail and his masters have done this, not us. Grail must have followed his family line in this fictional world of his and arranged to meet Alex in Singapore, just so he could get you and me there too.
So what do we do, Doctor? The damage has already been done.
Quite right, but thanks to Grail, the rules are suspended. We can play him at his own game. We have license to meddle. We can go back to when all this started, when Grail's masters first contacted him. We can prevent this happening.
We get to save the universe?
Again! The question is where, and more importantly, when did Grail get his invitation to immortality?
That is a rhetorical question, isn't it?
Actually, you probably do hold the key to answering it. Could I just... Well, I don't really know how to put this.
How unusual.
What I want to know is... Well, you see... Oh, here, just put this under your tongue.
What? Oh, what?
I assume that means what is it? It's a genetic sampler, and it's just taken a microscopic DNA swipe of your mouth. It feeds the information directly into the TARDIS console, which saves me asking you whether or not you kissed your friend Alex.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh?
The TARDIS can tease out the patterns of human DNA throughout the space-time vortex. We're heading for the Grail family home.
Ah. This is Alex's family home. We're in the attic. We came up here once to fetch a cricket bat.
Did you meet Sebastian then?
No. He only became interested in Alex recently, just before Alex left for Singapore, which tends to support your theory.
As does this.
Family photos, documents.
There's Sebastian. And this photo dates from the 1800s. Look over there. One very old vase, an amphora.
Isn't that Roman?
Absolutely. And unless there's an antiquarian in the family...
Not that I'm aware of.
Then Sebastian's Christmas present may prove costly for him. So, what do we have?
A name, an unholy grail.
A Latin original.
A conversation. I assume you did your usual act of playing the fool and making him talk.
Do I do that?
I always assumed you did.
Oh. He's immortal because of his masters. Masters who feed on the energy of worlds. They have tremendous power if they can indulge their slaves so much as to create a whole new timeline for them. Plus, he can't have killed me face to face. My death must have been extremely unsatisfying.
Yes, do look on the bright side.
And we also have your carefully sampled DNA chain.
Yes.
Let's do some research, shall we? Then, we go on the offensive.
Ave, Lucilius. Cold night, eh?
Ave, Marcus. This rain. You wonder what's going to fall out of the sky next. It's why the Picts breed so hard.
Do you mean that they're a hardy breed, or that they spend so much time doing it?
Both. At least we won't see their fetid hides tonight. Pity the poor sentries up on the wall.
Pah! They're Dacians, they don't feel the cold either. I miss dear old Londinium.
They say it's warm in Rome.
You and I never have and never will see Rome. You'll still be conducting the meeting tonight?
It keeps the men happy. You know, we're brothers in the blood of Mithras and all that.
I know it means more to you than that.
I suppose so. If I hadn't become a priest, I'd probably have ended up dead in the arena. But on nights like this... Oh, thank mighty Mithras for the rain, for it blesses the wheat and gives us our grain. Better?
Sounds more like your old self.
Indeed. I'm one of the few priests in this loose brotherhood who actually means what the incantation says. I wish I could have been there to kill the demon bull myself. My life seems to be missing that. Its greatest challenge, its reason to be. We're never going to have that major battle against the Picts, are we? The wall is there, the Empire's there, for the Britons.
I know. It seems sometimes that we've done all there is to do, but this is as far as we get. We should bring the Picts into the Empire, go as far as there is to go.
We're never going to. Anyhow, I'm on my way to sacrifice our earthly bull. If you have a moment, that might cheer us both up.
Delighted to help.
Nobody about. Come on, Charlie.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to keep my stoler out of the mud.
Now, just take a moment to consider how well we're doing. For once, we've arrived somewhere in exactly the right costumes. Having thoroughly read up on our destination, it feels luxurious.
Was it really worth 3 weeks at that awful abbey?
The Abbot of Felstakar is the greatest authority on human genealogy in the Milky Way. And now we know that the first instance of the name Grail appearing in the records in a British context was right here, on the payroll of this very Roman fort, in 305 AD, the year of the two emperors, Constantius and Galerius.
So, we find Grail and shoot him.
We do not shoot him.
Or catapult him, or feed him to the lions.
We find out if he's contacted his alien masters yet, and try to stop whatever he's doing.
You do always go the pretty way. I'm joking.
Are you?
Or we could stone him, or throw him off the wall of the fort.
Charlie.
It's so much more than blood. It's a sacrament. A promise from Mithras that he won't allow the demon bull to ravage the world again as it did before. Listen to me. I sound almost Christian, don't I?
Oh, I like the fact you're into it. For me, it's just a good excuse for an amphora of wine and a song afterwards.
That's how most of the men think.
Oh, don't you worry. You should talk to that Christian down in the village, the Greek. There's a fanatic for you. Do you know he won't admit the existence of other gods?
They won't get very far like that.
I'm amazed they've got this far. A soldier can appreciate this Mithras chap. Persian. We all know what good lads they are. Fond of the sun, perished in battle. All very noble. This slave Christ was hung in a... you know.
That's the attraction of fundamentalism. You get to be a fanatic. Our society of comrades gets the common soldier. Not too religious, just looks out where the birds are flying and does a bit of Hail Pallas Athena at the weekend.
It's the bathing in blood, all lads together. Great laugh. So who's the penitent tonight?
It's Corian Greyleye.
No. I may be indisposed after all.
He's just a little intense.
He's as mad as the moon. Have you heard some of the stuff he comes out with? It's hardly Mithraism at all.
So let him do it his own way. What are we, Christians?
Listen, Lucilius. I'll bet that as we speak, Decurion Grey lies in his tent muttering to something under his breath. And I doubt that something is Mithras.
Oh, my great lord, help me see you as you truly are. Show me the truth.
Well, go on then. Knock.
Well, how exactly do you knock on a tent? Oh, never mind. Hello? Anyone in?
Yes. Please enter.
Oh, hello.
Ave, strangers. I am Decurion Sebastius Greyleye. How may I aid you?
Is that him?
He's a little younger, but yes. I am Ambrosius Clemensis. This is my friend...
Daisia.
Odd to see a lady in camp at this time of night. I advise you to leave as soon as possible. The fort is no place for a lady after dark.
Thank you for the warning.
Lady, there is always danger in a military camp. Women are what make the best of men. They offer us absolution, forgive us, and give us a reason to aspire to greatness. Such as you must be protected at all costs. Let me say again, depart swiftly.
I'm very pleased to meet you, Decurion Greyleye. Have we met before?
Why, no, I don't think so.
Fantastic.
What's this about? I have to go and officiate at the temple in a moment.
Oh, no. My friend and I have vital information about the Picts. This is much more important than anything else.
What sort of information?
The Picts are revolting under a new war leader, King Caractacus.
How do you come by this intelligence?
We were traveling in the hills when we saw the ladies and the pages of the court of King Caractacus.
Just passing by.
That does sound urgent. But it can wait until after I've been to the temple.
Why, Decurion? What's so special about tonight at the temple? Is there going to be a tombola?
I have to go. Lady, follow my words and leave this place.
I'm going to follow him. Charlie, search the tent.
Oh, of course. It falls to me to sort through the used undergarments of an ancient Britain.
I seem to have misjudged Greyleye. Far from being a fanatic, he's not here at all.
We're going to need someone to manhandle the entrails. Where's the ritual sword? I can't do everything.
It's not on the altar already? Greyleye must really have something on his mind. Ah! Talk of the bullock.
Sorry, I was disturbed.
I'll say.
Fine. You're here now, brother. Go and get the entrails. Marcus, if you collect the sword, then we should be all set.
Hello. Am I in time for the meeting?
Of course. Come in, brother. New comrades are always welcome.
I'm not a comrade. I'm shopping around, trying out all the different cults, seeing what suits me.
Absolutely. The only sane thing to do. I still like a bit of the mysteries of Mercury every now and then.
There's a place in the 3rd rank. You're just in time for the bloodbath.
Story of my life. Nice sword, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Could I have a look?
You're welcome to, brother. I've not seen another like it in all my years in a legion either. There's something of an aura about it. The story goes that it's Mithras' own sword, his weapon of rustless metal with which he killed the demon bull. It certainly killed a few bulls here in its time.
Fascinating. And who'll be using it tonight?
That fellow over there, Decurion Greyleye?
Fortunately.
Should he be moving the statues around like that?
Oh, by Jupiter. Sorry, he's putting them in the wrong positions.
Leave him be. I'll have a quiet word afterwards.
If there isn't anything here, then I...
Greyleye, is that you? Greyleye, is it time yet?
No, it's not the time yet. Over and out. Doctor...
So what happens now?
Lucilius announces the blood bathing and then Greyleye carries it out.
He looks a bit strange.
He's not supposed to still be wearing his armor. Got here in a rush, apparently.
Where does he come from?
Oh, he's from Londinium. Like us, of Britain stock. We're not high on the list of Roman tourist spots since we had that independence business. Greyleye's a fellow Decurion. Changed his family name from something barbarian, but born within the sound of Boudicca's bells. He's not some Greek mystic, he's just got some wild ideas. He tried to talk to me about them at the start of our tour of duty, back when he thought I'd listen.
Like what?
Well, he kept asking me if we were certain who we should worship. Mithras killed the demon bull, you see, to save us all. But he kept saying that the bull was the powerful one, a kind of cleansing force that would wipe out our enemies and return the Empire to the glory it held during the realm of Emperor Hadrian, instead of the mess we're in at the moment.
Isn't that blasphemy?
What? Like the Jews and Christians have? No, my friend, you believe what you want. Shh. Lucilius is ready to speak.
Dearly beloved, Mithras is with us. And we are with him. Before we proceed to the bloodletting, I have a few announcements. Centurion Severinus Paulus is getting married on Saturn's Day, so let us wish him well in our prayers this evening.
Doctor!
Oh, no. That's quite out of the question, I'm afraid. No women in the temple.
What?
I thought you didn't believe in blasphemy.
Well, there's wild speculation on one hand and getting a woman near the blood on the other. Please?
Relax. We'll disappear outside for a minute.
You'd think we were in the Dark Ages.
Well, not for a couple of 100 years. Now, what is it?
There's a device in Grail's trunk. It looks like it's from the future. A sort of pointy thing pulsing with light. And, Doctor, I think it must be a radio of some kind. It knew I was there. It spoke to me.
Did you bring it?
Well, no. It spoke to me, well, rather angrily.
They'll be a while with their announcements. Come on, let me see.
It's in here.
Wow.
What is it?
I've no idea. The technology looks familiar. It's definitely some sort of a two-way transmitter. This must have been sent to Grail by his alien friends, which means he's already in touch with them. Odd.
What?
It looks as though it should project a hologram as well, but you say it only spoke to you, no pictures.
None. So Grail switched over to sound only. Why would he do that?
I really don't know, Charlie. Perhaps our Grey Eye isn't as certain of his masters as he will be in the future.
Plus, he's wearing his armor wherever he goes. Not something an immortal would do.
Yes, there's a distinct lack of trust there. And he didn't know who I was, of course. I think now would be the ideal time to put Grail off his stride. He's certainly more human than he was back in Singapore. We can use that.
Grey, the time approaches. Have the sacrifices at the appointed coordinates. We will switch to the psionic mind beam for the transfer of power. The first installment of your immortality awaits you.
Right you are. It's tonight. Tonight is when they, whoever they are, begin to make Grail immortal.
We have to stop it.
And now, let me hand you over to Brother Greyleye for the sharing of the blood and flesh of the bull that our Lord Mithras destroyed, that we might live.
Thank you, Brother Lucilius. I show you the amphorae of the blood. And now let me show you where you have gone wrong!
Oh, how terribly dull. It's gone all over that place. Will you please stop believing in things, Decurion? It's very messy. Now where are you going? The middle of a ceremony and everything. And I suppose I'll have to haul him back in. It's locked. The Maddo! He's locked us in. What is he doing?
I worship the great bull that encompasses all time and space. Master! I can feel you in my head. I call on you to give me now the power that you promised me. I offer the lives of all the men in this temple as a sacrifice worthy of you.
I thought you were supposed to be in the temple.
That was for the ritual gesture. This is for the sacrifice proper. Don't you think it's a much more dramatic effect here at the very center of the fortress? Open to the sky? That sound. The transfer must be starting already. We've got to stop him.
How? Oh, that light. What is it?
Gravitic distortion, gravitational lensing. They're phasing energy through the event horizon of a black hole, channeling it directly into his body.
Is that what makes him immortal?
Not quite, but this will keep him going for another millennia at least. But he won't be truly immortal until he physically travels through a black hole. The energies are too powerful to be released through space. It looks as though he's quite happy to sacrifice everyone in there just for that much, though. Everyone inside that temple is in terrible danger. We have to get them out.
He's bolted the door. Hold on.
Come on.
Greyleye, what do you think you're... Oh, it's you two. What's going on here?
Through the window, look at the sky. It's the color of blood. It's full of light.
Marcus, you've got to get your men out of here.
We are soldiers in the service of Rome. We do not run away.
If you stay here, you'll all die for nothing. Facing things like this is my job.
Do as he says. I feel it in my bones, Marcus. This is not the place for this battle. Leave that for another time.
I knew you'd make a prophecy one of these days. Very well. Retreat! Abandon the area! We'll return in greater numbers.
You seem to know what this is about. Can I help?
I don't know.
Yes, Doctor, what are we going to do?
I'm going to try talking to Greyleye.
Talking to him? But he's going to kill you.
In the future, possibly, but the laws of time are suspended, remember? There's still a chance that I can talk him down.
I'm coming with you.
No, I'm not going to put you in the firing line. Go with Lucilius and make sure you both get a good distance away from the fortress.
Doctor!
Please, Charlie, I'm counting on you.
All right. Let's go, Lucilius.
I just hope Marcus and the others have made it to the gate.
Keep going, men! We're nearly at the gate! Ignore the sky! It's just the aurora! It's a mirage!
A demon! A metal demon!
What has this got to do with anything? Don't just stand there! Attack it! Take it together! Put up your shields! Charge in the tortoise! Push it in the ditch! That's it, lads. We killed it. Now come on to the gates. Help the servants and the other troopers out. Look to the wounded. Come on, get moving there.
I can feel time and space opening up to me. Thank you, Masters, for this grace. Until all time can be mine to inhabit, I will serve you faithfully, Lord.
Greylai,
You, the stranger.
I'm not here to hurt you, Greylai, but I am here to stop you sacrificing the lives of all these people.
They are lambs to be set on the stone. They worship gods which do not exist, heroes and sprites. Their sacrifice will bring the true lords into this world once again.
How? How did you find them?
In my meditations on the nature of power, in my prayers to Mithras, how foolish I was to imagine he was the center of all things. As foolish as he when he thought he had killed the demon bull. That demon called to me with his fellows. They made me solid offers, came before me in visions. They will take me out of this ignoble place, so far from the fortune that should be mine.
A fortune where? In Rome?
In Londinium, where the eldest of all my brothers has inherited the villa. I changed my family name to distance myself from such humility. Now I know I shall outlive him and claim my family's honors and possessions. All the wealth of an undying man.
That's why you're going to doom an entire world? An entire universe? For money?
As yet, I know not what my masters desire of me, but I think you seek to mislead me, stranger. My masters will grant me power, the strength to make Rome glorious again.
You really have no idea what you're doing, do you? Greylai, I travel in time. I have spoken to you in the future. Then you had already doomed the world, but it doesn't have to be like that.
Enough! Soon my masters will come, and then my ascension can truly begin. Your lies will not deter me.
No, you're wasting your time, Greylai. You're beaten already. The sacrifice you offered has escaped. Without the lives of those men, your masters will stay just where they are. You may live an extra few years, but immortality, I don't think so.
No! How dare you!
For the sake of this world and everyone who lives here, present and future, I can promise you, Greylai, every time you try to summon your masters, I will be there to stop you.
Perhaps I should remove you now, then. I am a soldier, and you have declared war on me and the ones I follow. Is it not better to destroy you sooner rather than later?
You're making a mistake, Greylai. Why can't you just live out your extra years and gain the fortune you want so badly? We need never see each other again.
You underestimate me. Extra time is welcome, but it is not immortality. I will only be satisfied when I am immortal, seated among the gods, and my lords have this world in their hands. If you seek to stop me, then you make yourself my enemy. Make your peace with your gods.
Get away from him.
Charlie, I told you.
I won't let you hurt him, Greylai. Don't come any closer or I'll use this thing. I swear I will.
A sword from the temple? Looks a bit big for you.
You hide behind women now? When you know I could never harm a lady, you are not only my enemy, but a coward.
I'm not hiding, Greylai.
No matter. You have won this round, stranger. You've spoiled my sacrifice, but if you get in my way again with the lady or without, next time I shall put an end to your meddling.
Doctor, he's getting away.
Let him. We've done all we can do here. Oh, and thank you for saving my life. But please, don't make a habit of disobeying everything I say. I usually have a very good reason.
You're welcome. I think I'll keep this sword. It's very jolly.
But now we've got to get going. Grail ran off for a reason. I don't think it was to return an overdue library book.
The temple's shaking. Doctor, what's going on?
Grail's alien masters were trying to beam the sacrifices to their homeworld using a transmat beam. The shockwaves will destroy the rest of the fortress. Come on, back to the TARDIS. Tell me you got everyone else out.
Lucilius was a bit of a straggler, but I saw him on his way. They'll all be well clear by now. We're the only ones in danger, actually.
Not far now.
There goes the temple.
And us next. Come on. The shockwave is going to hit any moment.
Run!
We sprinted through the fort as the shockwave raced behind us. Buildings exploded into ash as it gained ground. Grail's masters hadn't got the energy they needed that night, and the destruction was all in vain. When we reached the TARDIS, we were only seconds ahead of a blast.
Doctor!
that was close. We only got away by the skin of our noses. Ow! Look where you're pointing that sword.
Oh, sorry. I'll put it in the umbrella stand. So what do we do now?
Grail seemed to think that he would get another chance at immortality. I don't think it'll be for a while, though. He was pretty put out. I suspect his masters are limited by some astronomical alignment, something that lets them transfer their power only at certain times. We have to find out the point in space and time where they try again. A point where I can somehow sever the link between them. And here is how we find it.
You're not going to need another sample, are you?
No, I've set the TARDIS to trace the point of origin for that transmat beam. Here we are, look at this. The beam originated in the Ordnance System. A rather unlucky system by all accounts. Got a black hole almost on their doorstep. That would make sense. Thanks to that black hole, and the sheer number of planets in the system, they can only transmit to Earth every 750 years or so. I think we can count on Grail's masters having another go. Their window of opportunity is only open for a year, but that's more than enough time. How about paying Grail another visit?
Doctor, have you stopped to ask yourself, why does Grail want to kill you?
Well, I am a rather troublesome person. He probably just wants me out of the way. Actually, in Singapore, there was a bit more to it than that.
From what you said, he absolutely hated you. But he didn't recognize you in the Roman fort. That was the first time you'd met. What if he's after revenge for you getting in the way just then? And for all the times we're going to do it again?
So, if I hadn't tried to stop him killing me, he wouldn't want to kill me?
Yes.
If you think about things like that and travel through time, Charlie, you'll turn your brain into a spiral staircase. And I've heard of people who've vanished up staircases like that. Zagreus sits inside your head, Zagreus lives among the dead, Zagreus sees you in your bed and eats you when you're sleeping, as Mama used to say.
Zagreus?
A character from a Gallifreyan nursery rhyme. But that's not important. Whatever Grail's personal motives for wanting to see me dead, there's still the matter of his masters, who, as we speak, have fed upon the Earth and changed the whole timeline in the process. Those alien demons, whatever they are, might want me dead themselves.
Point taken. So where are we going?
One of my favorite times and places. London in the year 1055, the court of King Edward, known as the Confessor, during the time known as the Rule of Solomon.
So he was a very wise King Edward?
Yes, but they didn't really mean that then. Solomon was known for being a peaceful man. This chap was very cunning, and so was his wife. Still, they kept England at peace for decades. Grab a gown from the wardrobe, Charlie. We're off to hunt Sebastian Grail in an era of harmony and tranquility.
He's not going to calm down, is he?
Aelfgar, you have murdered and abused your subjects as Earl of East Anglia.
Oh, calm down. You're not some Irish Viking. Do try and act like an Englishman.
We hereby decree... Oh, sorry, you should do this bit.
I suppose. I wish you could. Aelfgar of East Anglia, you are banished to the wilds of Scotland. Do not set foot upon any of the earldoms of Angleland upon pain of death.
Take him away.
No, you can't send me away. Take me.
So, who shall we give his earldom to? Plenty of candidates. But who's the best tactical choice? Your brothers in the Godwin family have too many sons.
It's a family trait. Present company accepted.
Oh, my Edith, dear Swan Neck. I wish we could have a child, but...
I was joking, Edward. You know I could never hurt you with words like that. I feel able to play lightly with our misfortune.
Misfortune? I haven't heard my nature called that before.
Well, I call it a misfortune when you're off in chambers with William the Bastard of Normandy for a whole weekend.
Didn't Harold Hardrada of Denmark entertain you enough over that time?
Oh, they think you're so holy. They say that's why we have no heir. Your mind's on higher things.
Shh. Here comes the bishop. Leofric of Exeter.
Oh, I like him.
Don't provoke me, Edith.
Greetings, my king, my queen.
What is your message for us at this court of Lent, your grace?
Only to say that my mines produce fine jewelry for my lieges, of which I humbly offer 2 pieces.
Why, Leofric, this necklet is lovely.
Oh, this chain is warm against my throat. Most comforting. London may be one of our favorite courts, and this grand hall is magnificently decorated for our presence, but it does get a bit chilly.
What is this comfortable metal?
A new one, my lady, known only to the expert miners who have opened new shafts to my instructions in the southwesterly tip of Earl Godwin's earldom.
This was most skillful of you, Your Grace. We shall talk later at supper.
Now you're excused.
My lieges.
Most generous. Surely you agree that Leofric is ripe for earldom?
Yes. Bishops often make good earls. They don't go stealing nuns like some of your family.
And he's not a Godwin, if you must ignore my kin.
Take my arm, Swanneck. We will go to our meal and ponder this further.
I think the old girl will be safe in there.
I like this dress. All these brooches.
Two things the Saxons were good at, jewelry and politics.
But why couldn't I bring my sword?
Because you're a lady. Do try to remember.
Doctor, look out! Over there, the guards.
It is standing by the doors to the Great Hall.
Doctor, I know my Bayer tapestry. The chaps with the funny nose pieces are Normans. The web of time must have been really fooled about with. They must have invaded early.
Charlie. Norman soldiers were garrisoned in Britain years before the conquest.
They were?
Yes. Edward and his wife Edith promised the throne to William of Normandy, Harold Hardrada of Norway, everyone who wanted it. They kept them at each other's throats for decades. Nobody wanted to invade because they all thought they were going to inherit. This is a cosmopolitan court, full of Danes and Saxons and Angles and Jutes and Frenchmen and Normans and Norwegians and Irishmen and Scots and, most importantly, one rather ancient Britain.
How do we know he's here?
Well, the TARDIS was picking up signs of transmissions from the ordnance system to this city. But there's this as well. A power detector. There's a radioactive source in this building. I'd be willing to bet that Grail's got something to do with it. I'll keep the detector switched off under my robes until we're free to explore. Which reminds me, here, swallow this.
What is it?
Anti-radiation pill. It'll protect you from any harmful effects if we get close to it. Now, come on, let's go and say hello to the royals over dinner.
An excellent lamb, Freeman. Your culinary skills bring fame to this court.
Have you given any more thought to Bishop Leofric taking over the earldom of East Anglia?
I haven't given much thought to anything. I have an ache in my throat.
Myself also. London's halls do bring chills. Why must they build these things so close to the river? It makes my bones ache and...
Yes, oh, but look who's here! Ah, all of you, to your feet! Sound the horns! It is the Reverend Doctor of Bruges, long of my acquaintance, and that of my father. Welcome, Doctor.
Oh, no, not him.
My liege. My lady.
Rise, Reverend Doctor. This man, Edith, before you and I met, helped treat my father, Ethelred, of a fever that would have dispatched him.
Really?
Ethelred was unready to die that night. He fought like an ox. Speaking of which, this is the Lady Charlotte.
I beg your pardon?
I mean, you're a fighter. My liege, my lady. Quick.
My liege, my lady.
Isn't she rather young to be traveling with a physician such as yourself, Doctor?
What she lacks in experience, she makes up for in sheer gall.
An ox with gall? I'm keeping a list of these, you know.
Well, sit and take wine and food with us. Had we heard of your coming, we would have sent messengers ahead to meet you.
Thank you, my liege. Do you see who's sitting over there looking like he smelled something nasty?
Grail! He hasn't aged a day.
Oh, I think he has. A little tension around the eyes. You learn to see such details when you're used to the bitchiness of Time Lord society. My king, who is that fellow?
That is,
Bishop Leofric of Exeter. Why do you ask?
I've met him before.
And was that a happy meeting?
Perhaps I should ask him.
Then it was not.
Would the Queen excuse me?
Indeed. I have before. So, young Lady Charlotte, do take some wine.
Thank you, my lady.
Now, what of Bruges?
Oh, it's much the same as it was.
So, Grail. Or should I say Leofric? You've got yourself a grand old Saxon name now. Why are you at court? What are you planning?
Doctor. Is that what they called you? Doctor who?
My enemies never ask me that. Isn't that terrible? But they know me better than my friends.
You've traveled through time to come here. My masters have warned me to guard against your arrival. And now there you are, before my eyes. You spoke truth that day in the fortress then, if this is no dream.
Pinch me if you like.
Oh, I'll do more than that. It has been centuries since I saw you last. During that time, you have sometimes been far from my thoughts, but never far from my heart. I spent 80 years in penitence and guilt in a community of monks on the Northern Isles, only to see them all die of their years while I remained young. I've married 12 wives, had no children, and watched every wife fade before my eyes into a crone. This world hangs around my neck as a stone at the throat of a drowning man. But whenever I looked up, I remember the words of my masters, telling me that this world would pass, and in that I was constantly reminded of you, of the man whose interference ensured that no season would pass for me without fear and pain. You prevented me from gaining the transcendence of a true immortal, and there you are now, the distance of my arm away. My hand wants to go to my mace and slay you for all my seasons of fear. The only thing that prevents it, the only thing...
Is it you're well in with the royals and don't want to upset the dinner table? You still consider your masters to be gods?
Blasphemer! Would I have taken holy orders if I did?
Then you and I don't have to be enemies at all, if you found a faith.
Faith in the power of the Lord, who smites his enemies. Faith that I'm being courted by angels of providence and offered a truly graceful lifetime to be a new messiah to these fallen children.
Dear, you still have your rocker.
Have a care, villain!
Careful with the mace, no weapons at table. So you must be busy right now. You failed your masters last time. What have they asked you to do to regain their favor?
I don't have to tell you anything.
But you're a gloater, Grail. I know you are.
What have you against me to follow me? To reappear now, when my ascension is nearly complete?
Must we go through this again? Your actions will ultimately lead to the destruction of Earth, the conquest of all time and space. I can't and won't allow that. Think again about what your masters are, for all our sakes.
Fascinating, my lady. Fascinating to hear you talk so fondly of your native city.
Next time we have visitors from Bruges, I must dance this Charleston.
It's all the rage, my lady. I think you'd...
Charlie!
She's ill. Call the apothecaries.
Let me, my liege.
The poor little girl, whatever is the matter?
She's got an accelerated heartbeat. She's sweating and she's unconscious. This isn't an illness. She was fine a minute ago. She's been poisoned.
In our court? Who would dare?
We must make her expel the substance.
No, we mustn't. My lady, I have medicines in my traveling chest. Let me take her there.
Clear his way. Let no man bar his path.
Hang on, Charlie. Just hang on. The nanites of the TARDIS console room should be whizzing around your body right now, Charlie. It won't take long. I'm sorry I said that about the ox and the gore.
A mighty magician's cabinet. I'm impressed.
Grail! How did you follow me in here? Oh, don't tell me.
The door was open.
You did this to her.
Indeed, I did. I thought you'd take her back to your vehicle. How spacious it is.
She could have been killed.
Yes, but what of it? Within 60 years or so, she'll be dead anyway.
Why is that important?
Because this world is designed by man and God on the basis of mortality. I returned to my inheritance, Doctor, and eventually I received it. My brothers died without issue.
And you had a hand in that?
I don't remember. Tiny, short lives. I've ceased to notice the way the dust motes like that quibble. I concern myself now with no one but earls and kings and angels.
Then no wonder you're as mad as they come.
My new state and the slow processes of influence and investment have given me a land of my own. A bishopric. And soon they will give me more.
An earldom, perhaps?
The world, Doctor. What less could one desire?
As well as your immortality. Your masters are getting more generous by the second. How are you going to get hold of the world, then?
My masters will bestow upon me the earldom of Earth when they come at last.
You're a fool to believe that, and I suppose they want nothing at all in return.
It will be my efforts that will allow their entrance to this world. I have gathered the holy metal, followed their instructions. They are grateful enough for that.
That thing you do still works, doesn't it?
Charlie, you're all right.
Don't turn your back on me for the sake of a short-lived wench.
Short-lived? You... Oh, dear.
Yes, I carry a blade, and you go unarmed. Why shouldn't I kill you now?
Because the king's servants will already be searching for me.
They won't find you in this machine.
Because when we first met, you gave me the impression that you killed me at long range.
Interesting. So, we meet in the future, and I have done this deed. But I have free will, and would do it now.
Because of the hat stand.
What?
No! The hat stand.
Thank you, Charlie.
Well, now he's tried to kill me. Are you feeling more inclined to save yourself and the entire world by dropping him into a volcano or something?
Oh, and I'm horrified that you're still suggesting that.
I only say it because I know you won't do it. But
Yes?
we could drop him off on some perfectly nice but deserted planet. Just get him out of the way.
And then his masters, as soon as their alignment allowed, would either rescue him or pick a new disciple.
Oh well. At least you got some information out of him.
Yes, he's swapping metal for immortality. Not a very good bargain, I'd have thought. We need to find out what he's doing with the metal. But for now, we're expected back in the Great Hall.
So what should we do with him?
I'd like to lock him in here for a while, but left alone he could do serious damage. Besides, in the end, he would get out of any confinement. That's one of the most wonderful things about Lady Time, isn't it? How nothing's constant, how everything decays and changes.
You call that wonderful?
I call it absolutely beautiful. How would it be if everything was always the same? If you never got too big for your dresses, if you never got to pass them on to your sister, if the rainy autumn lasted forever and spring never came. At least I change. I'm stumbling my way through bodies like I own a particularly dangerous bicycle. Grail never changes, not inside, not who he is. So time piles on top of him and kills everything good. No one should have to go through that.
If we're going to help him, we're going to have to separate him from his masters. So we need to find out more about them, don't we?
Yes, sorry, I was soliloquizing again. Filthy habit. Come on, let's get him outside and hide him in a corner somewhere.
No, he's heavy!
Get him behind it.
What have you done to our bishop?
My lady, we only...
Rendered him unconscious.
You seem quite well now, young lady. You said earlier, Doctor, that yourself and Leofric had been enemies.
Doesn't look good, does it?
Guards, take them.
Edith, come on, I know what this is really about.
Then you'll have to find something else to ponder in our prison.
I can't believe we're actually manacled to a wall. I thought they only did that in cartoons.
Yes, it's a form of torture.
Odd, because it doesn't hurt.
Oh, in a couple of days it will. If they leave us for a week, we'll be in continuous agony.
Oh.
Cheer up. Look, there's a mouse.
I am deeply cheered. So what did you mean when you told Queen Edith that you knew what this was really about?
Oh, she knows I wouldn't hurt her, Bishop. She's just upset because I left her at the altar.
You did what?
Before Edward and Edith met, Edward was a puppet ruler put on the throne by Edith's family, the Godwins. They decided they wanted an heir to the throne, so they married him off to their daughter Edith, the most beautiful woman in England. Probably.
Yes, but
Edith turned out to be also the most intelligent woman in England. She and Edward really liked each other, and they spent the next few decades making all of England's enemies fall into their own traps.
So you and she have a lot in common?
I met her at her father's court, much as I met Edward at his. I really liked the idea of spending some time talking about politics with the most brilliant tactician of her age. Only Edith saw it a little bit differently. One leap year, she asked me to marry her.
And you said...
Well, I must have mumbled, and then everyone was talking about a wedding before her father returned to say no, and I couldn't see her beforehand, and none of her courtiers wanted to listen when I said I didn't want to marry her, and one thing led to another,
And you did a runner?
Well, it was either that or become part of British history.
I hope you are both considering your immortal souls.
You! I should have thumped you harder.
The king is most displeased with you for attacking one of his clergy.
If I could speak to him...
But he's indisposed. An illness. I'd be granted leave to take your confession, Doctor, to forgive you for your sins against me. I intend to hear you beg your contrition at great length. But first, let's see what tricks you have up your sleeve. What, for example, is this?
It's a musical instrument.
Then how does it play? It roars at me!
Doctor, if that's the radiation detector...
Just a harmless tracking device. Still, a man of your age, eh, Grail? Frightened of the great beyond? Don't your masters scare you just a little bit?
Of course they do. It is wise to fear the angels of the Lord, and it would be wise of you to fear me and my blade.
Doctor!
First, you will suffer slowly. Then, the girl.
Charlie, close your eyes.
Stop hurting him!
Very well. You are a short-haired wench, aren't you?
I really didn't mean that you should hurt me instead.
Unfortunately, that's exactly how I took it.
Grail, if you harm her...
Hush! That was just a nick on your ear. Men suffer worse at the barber.
If you harm her, I will show you suffering beyond anything you've experienced so far. Do you hear me, Grail?
You dare?
No, Doctor, don't make him go to you. Not for me.
Leofric?
My queen.
Edith, thank goodness.
Don't thank me for anything yet, Doctor.
You're not here to free us.
From the look of that smile, no, she isn't.
His Grace the Bishop has been a good servant to the Crown, and the doctor has been only a false traitor to me.
Edith, I was very fond of you. I just don't do weddings.
Leofric has offered me a way to keep Angleland safe for centuries hence. And when dear Edward dies, and somehow Leofric has made his way past all the servants and food tasters to bring the king to the brink of that condition, then myself and the new Earl of East Anglia will have a baby strong enough to keep the throne.
My loyalty to my queen is absolute, and the necklace she wears is testimony to it.
My lady, I can give you gifts too. The sparkling object on the floor, for instance.
No, wait, my...
What? This? An odd sort of gift. A lantern of tiny lights and chiming noises. The handiwork of Bruges is something to behold. But for what?
For England, my lady.
What does the knave... Oh!
My lady, take my arm.
My throat. So warm. I feel so weak.
Doctor, has the tracer done something to her?
Of course not.
My lady! My lady? My lady, can you hear me? No, I think not.
What have you done to her?
Exactly what I have done to her husband. The necklets they wear are made of a holy metal, mined in great quantity by my servants. The metal kills. It can kill you slowly, over months, like an illness, as my men have discovered. But then my masters deemed that we should stack it in a pile with peat and lead, and it emerged in a form that only I could handle safely. A form that burnt my servants like the sun and killed them in hours.
Humans will call it plutonium.
But, Doctor...
And you made 2 necklaces of it to kill the king and queen. Are you hoping to take their place?
100 sail barges will arrive at the docks this night, each loaded with the deadly metal. Each controlled by a master who will be as dead as the ferryman across the infernal river, though he will know it not.
100 sail barges full of plutonium. That's a lot of raw power. But what do you intend to do with it,
I shall use it. It will bring my masters to me.
None of this is in the history books, is it?
No, but if it's stopped now, it could be smoothed over. The court's been exposed to a lot of radiation. It'll persist for a few decades. But that would explain the mad genetics of the next few rulers.
Why so prim, Doctor? There is nobody here to be dismayed by your knowledge of the future.
Isn't there? What a wonderful plan you had. A pity it's going to fail.
What? You live?
She does, traitor. As do I. Do you think we have kept this throne so long by not recognizing death when we feel it at our throats?
The necklace. Replacements.
Which is why the queen didn't set off the detector. She really does remind me of me.
It matters not. You cannot stop me.
Oh, gods!
Hand me!
Another word, my liege, and the Lady Edith is no more. My triumph is still at hand. I depart to enjoy it.
Guards! Where are you? Oh, useless lot! Pursue him! Pursue Leofric!
Your guards won't be able to stop him. If plutonium doesn't harm him, he's pretty near invulnerable. Get me out of these manacles. That man is my responsibility.
You know my wife well, it seems, Doctor.
Only as well as you do, my liege.
You two are the only men wily enough to see through my tricks.
Here, if you would pursue the villain, take my sword.
For England, Doctor.
I don't do swords either, my queen. There's always a better way. We have to stop those barges from unloading. Tell your men to expect a fight at the docks. Prepare them to defend the court. Charlie, you go back to the TARDIS. I'll deal with Grail.
Be careful, Doctor.
My dear Edith, you ever think you married the wrong man?
My dear Edward. Shall we see to those boats?
I clambered out onto the roof of the hall and looked down. Along the river floated a necklace of bright jewels, each barge burning a lantern above its cargo of death. Power enough to do anything, but I already had an idea of what Grail intended for it. It wasn't a comfortable thought. When I caught sight of Grail standing on the wall, he was surrounded by a nimbus of light. His masters had already started to send their power to him.
Doctor, you are too late. Soon you shall see my masters face to face. They have already granted me another taste of their ultimate reward, and so much more is to come.
No, I'm here to stop you.
Stop me? You mean kill me for what I did to your companion?
I mean stop you, any way I can.
So you have a moral code, an aversion to killing, not an aversion to dooming me to this half-life of 1,000 years.
Grail, you doomed yourself. But you can save yourself just as easily. Don't do this.
After all this work? I think not. See my machine, Doctor? My master's instructed me in its particulars, but I built it. Is it not a fine sight? The holy metal will lend its power, and I shall bring my masters to my side. The angels of the Lord shall walk upon the earth once again.
Those are not angels, Grail. Can't you see? They're monsters. And they seek to turn you into one as well.
Then at least I will no longer be the youngest son, the last promoted, the furthest banished.
Look inside yourself. They're turning you into something inhuman. The Grail I met at the Temple of Mithras would not act as you do now. He was misguided, but not evil. He would have spared the life of a lady. You were prepared to torture one.
What is evil? What is morality to an immortal? You can keep your petty ethics, Doctor. See? The barges have reached the docks. My men are about to unload them. Soon the metal will be delivered to me.
No, actually. The plutonium won't get inside the castle. I've seen to that.
My men-at-arms are being held back. So you obstruct me again!
It's what I do.
Not for much longer. I have the machine, Doctor. I can mine more holy metal from another source, and I will live long enough to fulfill my role, which is more than can be said for you. This time, I will be sure of your death. Do you know how to fly, time traveler? Shall we find out? What is evil? What is morality to an immortal? You can keep your petty ethics, Doctor. See? The barges have reached the docks. My men are about to unload them. Soon the metal will be delivered to me.
No, actually. The plutonium won't get inside the castle. I've seen to that.
My men-at-arms are being held back. So you obstruct me again!
It's what I do.
Not for much longer. I have the machine, Doctor. I can mine more holy metal from another source, and I will live long enough to fulfill my role, which is more than can be said for you. This time, I will be sure of your death. Do you know how to fly, time traveler? Shall we find out?
Not today, Grail. Thanks all the same.
Doctor, what have you done?
Hello, Charlie.
You've killed him.
No, look down there. That's him swimming away. A fall like that wouldn't even wind him. Thanks to his master's Grail is virtually indestructible.
Well, unless he gets out of this city pretty fast, I think Edith will do her best to put that right, with any luck.
I wonder if Grail can be killed at all. I've no idea how far his invulnerability extends.
Not very far if I get my hands on him. What's this?
It's the machine that Grail's master instructed him to make. Looks like a rudimentary transmat. Powered with enough plutonium to shift a reasonable mass all the way from the ordnance system.
He was telling the truth then. He was bringing his masters to him.
Master, in the singular, I think. Unless his masters are very small indeed, I don't think this machine could handle more than one. Interesting.
Is it?
Very. That Grail had to make a machine like this at all suggests that his masters no longer possess the energy to move anything between the systems themselves, whether that be sacrifices or themselves. They must be getting desperate. Until Grail finds a way to take at least one of them away from the ordnance system, they're stuck there.
So it's just him we have to deal with for now, then? We throw this machine off the tower and make sure that Grail has his head chopped off or something, and case closed.
I'm afraid it's not quite that simple.
It never is it?
The Grail that I just threw off this roof wasn't quite the one that I met in Singapore. We meet each other at some point in the future. Besides, he's probably on his way out of the country as we speak. It'll take him a while, too long for this window of opportunity, but he can always make another machine and find the fuel for it. All we can do here is make sure the plutonium is properly dealt with. Then we find Grail's master's next opportunity and get in the way again. Shall we go?
Doctor?
Yes?
The machine?
Oh yes, give us a hand, Charlie. Thankfully, Despite the drama of the last few hours, the court wasn't that ruffled. Intrigue comes with the territory when you spend time around royalty. I left instructions with Edith and Edward on how to deal with the plutonium, along with enough anti-radiation pills to protect anyone working with it. We took off as soon as politeness allowed, probably sooner than that. As soon as I had the chance to relax, my body remembered that it had been rather roughly dealt with.
Doctor, are you all right?
No, Charlie, I don't think I am. Oh dear, there's blood on my shirt.
Oh, come on, lean on me. We'll get you to the medical wing. So many small incisions. He really took a dislike to your chest.
How's your ear?
Oh, that's nothing. It stopped bleeding on its own.
I thought he was going to...
But he didn't. Will you please just say what's on your mind? It's unnerving when you're quiet. Normally, there's not a single unexpressed thought.
Charlie, when we were fighting, I think I actually wanted to kill Grail. I'm not sure I had his invulnerability in mind when I threw him from the roof. For a moment, I hated him as strongly as he must hate me. I imagined I saw your blood on his hands.
And I remember expressing several violent thoughts about him, but I wouldn't do anything about them. He's a bounder. It's only natural to want to.
There's a difference between your words and my actions. I'm the doctor. I can't do that sort of thing, but I might have done.
But you didn't. And I know you wouldn't. You're right. That's not who you are. All the same, there's something about Grail that really upsets you, isn't there?
Yes. I don't know, it's just that his ideas are so small. He's timeless, but he's still a product of the times he's living in, and yet his plans are so huge. He'd destroy the universe because of the terms of his father's will.
And now he's failed to get his immortality again. He's going to go another 750 years tied up in the details of the world. I don't think it's going to do much for his sanity.
I don't think it can get much worse. He's changed. He's become evil. The first Grail, or should I say Graili, wouldn't even understand what that means.
So we stop him. No problem. Put your shirt on.
It's fairly straightforward this time. We just look ahead another 750 years and we find, of course, the early 19th century.
So how do we find him? He could be anywhere in the world.
I don't think so. He's been tied to Britain for so long, I think